find one. We connect you with preschool professionals living right here in Northwest Indiana. Experts in residential, commercial, voice data video, and signage. Certified Electrician can fulfill all your electrical needs. Visit CertifiedElectrician.com.
I'm Barbara Gadarian Muckle, Executive Director of Excel to Fitness, Northwest Indiana. Excel to Fitness is a 6-week program serving boys 3rd through 6th grade. This program is for every boy. The 12-session curriculum creates an interactive experience using speed, strength, agility, balance, and cardio while embedding character through teamwork, leadership, and goal setting. Join Excel to Fitness this season at your school, church, or recreational center. Registration begins March 12th. Contact me at 219-595-XCEL or exceltofitness.com/Northwest Indiana.
Although I'll cry, ain't that a shame? My tears feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame.
Ryan Walsh here, going to get joined by Sam Michael in just a moment, and we'll talk a little high school basketball. A lot going on this weekend. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live this morning. And
Sectional Friday.
Sectional Friday. Oh, the secret guest has spoken before I introduced them, but we'll get to him in just a moment.
Gotta get the people what they want, right?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to the great folks at Johnny's Tap last night. Had a good time, and there'll be more of us tonight. I think.
Is that the after party spot?
Yep, absolutely, after party spot.
Okay.
The official hangout of Dave Kuziak. He had a nice little Johnny's Tap quarter zip jacket on last night.
I thought his spot was our other sponsor. Did they sponsor? Where's the place he always goes to before the Knoll games?
Oh, the Cavalier and
Cavalier.
they sponsor Mission Knoll games.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. From time to time.
The Polish plate. Tell him Kuz sent you. That's what it was.
The Polish platter. Yeah, that's
Polish
right.
platter.
And I want to say thanks to Ken Davidson, Mad Mac, Mark Forright, Kenny and Gotti, Wayne Micka for coming out last night, Lisa Kuziak, Dave Kuziak, and Bob Mitziga. We had a good time last night at Johnny's Tap, but that was just talking to each other because we were there for the Indiana Hoosiers, and it was
not good.
Less than spectacular. We'll leave it at that, really. Just a bad season is over for Indiana basketball fans, and there really aren't many lower lows than what we saw last night as fans of the Indiana Hoosiers basketball program. And now I'll bring in Sam Michael. We're going to talk sectional basketball, and then Sam's going to introduce our special class, but Sam's going to give his final thoughts on the IU season.
It was a funeral last night, it felt like. I mean, that team is up and down, up and down. You thought the way they started playing down the stretch there that they would give a much better effort in this Big Ten tournament, but what ultimately doomed them is their offense was just not good enough. They did not have enough guys to score the basketball, and when you don't have a good offensive team, you cannot really play. Yeah, there you go.
Stop it.
You cannot really play well defensively too. Yeah, there you go.
You know what though? This is a good bagpipes. That kind of reminds me of like the U.S. soccer team.
Amazing Grace.
Yeah, not so good. I mean,
well, that's not good either because we're not going to the World Cup. Are you a soccer guy, Ryan?
I absolutely am.
You am. See,
he played soccer in high school.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Well, I know you called the games. I'm an American outlaw. I'm not trying to brag, but. You know what? That song, it's always brings me good memories to the U.S. soccer team, and there's not really many of them this year. Can I have my coffee?
Making me nervous.
I'm not going
to. But for Indiana, again, we hope the best is yet to come for Archie, and I think it is. He got that team to play defense, and that was something Tom Crean was not able to do really for the last years, at least, of his tenure. And for guys like Robert Johnson and Colin Hartman especially, you feel bad for them that it went out like that. But
do we still feel bad for Hartman?
Yeah, I still do.
He hasn't made a shot in 2 months.
Because, I mean, the injuries just piled up so bad. And I just tip my cap to him for even coming back. He could have just walked away from the program. He could have went out and everybody would have loved him still. Some people might have changed their tune on this year. But
as you said, though, he's one of those guys you love as an Indiana fan. Colin Hartman, he came back. He had a senior night speech last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when that happens, it's me and you were talking, okay, the guy's done. Thank you for what you did as an Indiana basketball player. Because the year before, the year that they won the Big Ten outright, he was the role guy that came in. He always, he didn't need to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
He was always there on the wing. He hit a three whenever you need him to. And now it's just this year, it's not even that he needed to do too much, but as you said, the knee, he just couldn't do anything. And I looked at you tonight and I said, listen, has this guy hit a shot in 2 months?
Really, he hadn't. He hadn't scored in his last 5 games. And But what I was so
Is
excited
that an
about-
actual stat?
It
In his
was.
he hasn't even scored in his last
We
5
scored
games.
yesterday, but before that, 5 straight games. He hadn't played a lot because of the knee and the wrist. But what I was excited about was his leadership possibility. They were really missing that last year, and everybody kept talking. Oh, if they had Colin Hartman, it could have made a difference. Well, they were going to have Colin Hartman this year, and they did. And I thought it was going to make that difference. And at some points early on, it felt like it was, and then at other points, it was just like, okay, he can't do this all by himself.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate. And you feel bad for some guys, and you almost feel bad for Archie because now he's, to me, I keep saying this, but the IPFW, the Indiana State game, and now yesterday, those are 3 of the probably 20 worst losses in Indiana history, at least since the turn of the century.
The thing is, though, and as a couple people today reminded me on Twitter, it's so irrelevant if we get Romeo Langford next year.
Well,
because if you get Romeo Langford, that's at least a top 12 class, if not a top
10, I think. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and if you get Romeo Langford, especially with the guy, I can't remember the names. Ryan, you might be able to help here. There's a kid out of South Bend Clay. I think it's South Bend Clay, and he led his team to an undefeated season this year.
Yeah, Demezi
Anderson. Yeah,
and they're playing. So that's a 4-star recruit.
There's
another
4
4-star recruit out of the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
So if you get, and Romeo's thing was, I want to play with other great players. Okay. Well, there's the one guy who committed to Vanderbilt. I can't remember his name. He was the top recruit.
Darius Garland.
Yes, the point guard.
Darius Garland. You're absolutely right. And that's fine if you want to play with them. Vanderbilt's a total train wreck. Regardless of what you think of IU, Vanderbilt's a total train wreck. And you have a chance to play with 2 4-star recruits from the state of Indiana. You would be a 5-star recruit from the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. And to me, I might be biased because I'm an IU fan. I think that's something special.
Well, that's what people have told him. Damon Bailey and others have told him, basically Jared Jeffers, another guy who's come out and said, hey, I mean, you can go have a nice career at Vanderbilt, play 1 season, get drafted in the first round, and be just a guy who, everybody sees you on campus and says, hey, nice job. Or, I mean, really, you could be a guy who's a legend at Indiana and be a team. You lead them 1 year, maybe at least to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 or something like that. And everybody will never, I mean, people still talk about Eric Gordon, for God's sake. And he had one pretty good season in a season no one will forget because it was the last year of Kelvin Sampson.
And they lost in the first round of the tournament.
Right. And I think, they lose to Gonzaga that year, maybe?
No, they lost to Arkansas.
Okay.
They got beat bad.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, once Dockage took over, it was a lose-lose. They were done.
God.
But you never forget that Eric Gordon decided to come to Indiana. He wasn't even an Indiana guy. So, I mean, that's a huge difference. And I would just love, we're biased. We're way biased. But,
right.
I mean, if he comes, it changes everything. Even if he doesn't, though, as long as Jawan stays and there's not any weird transfers out,
I don't think
this
there should
team.
be.
No, there shouldn't be. And this team next year can be a top 25 team in college basketball for sure. No doubt about that.
And I get it that it's different now because every game is so well televised. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess maybe with the exception of the ACC because I feel like every ACC game is on ESPN3. You have to stream it via the computer or Xbox or whatever.
They do have a weird net. Like yesterday,
it's really weird for. That's probably the best conference in basketball.
The ACC network is on WCIU around here.
Yeah,
and on different channels.
Is that HD though around here too?
I don't think so. I watched
I don't think it's HD. I think you need to stream it.
The Wake Forest Notre Dame game on Saturday afternoon was not in HD.
Yeah, I think you need to stream it if you want to get it in HD.
Yeah,
but as good as that of a conference is, I get it. It's not the same as it used to be. You go to Indiana, you're on TV. Just like if you're a football player, you want to play for Notre Dame.
Johnny Manziel, he says he'd play for free. He wants to play that bad.
He's an idiot.
He's back?
He's going to be in the XFL. Vince McMahon's going to give on that criminal thing. But if you're, back in the day, if you were a football player, you wanted to play at Notre Dame because you wanted to be on national TV every Saturday. The same thing kind of was for IU, but I think there's still a thing where if you grow up in Indiana, you still have that connection. And as you said, Sam, if you play in Indiana, you could be a legend. You can go somewhere else and just be another great player, but you can play in Indiana and you can be a legend.
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll see what happens. There's so much time between now and October, and this whole summer is going to be a big thing. But the spring is going to be huge, and we'll see if that happens. But as you said, Peter, it's Sectional Friday.
Yeah, Hope Springs Eternal.
It's Sectional Friday.
Absolutely.
This is one of the best days of the year.
You're right about that.
In my opinion.
You're right.
Unfortunately, Highland's not playing our alma mater. Ryan's is. Yeah. And I hope they make. Well, I can't say that. We can't be biased. Right?
No, we can't.
No,
we can't
be biased. I'm not going to say anything.
Or the FBI is coming in.
I was going to say. I was going to say. I hope Ryan goes bring them donuts in here in a few minutes.
Hey, let's take a look at the pairings for tonight. It'll be Jim D'Lo and
Dave.
Dave
memorized, Ryan. Come on.
He does.
I pretty much do, but
Just
sometimes for people that don't know,
all right.
It's East Chicago Central and Hammond Wharton at 6:00. That's going to be from Lake Central.
That's a good game.
It is. Lake Central and Munster that East Chicago Central Morton game was down to the wire, and Morton beat East Chicago Central this year, if I remember correctly.
I still don't have a favorite in that sectional one.
Well, that sectional always runs 2 months.
That's the one you're doing.
They're an
Whiting,
institution
right?
for
That's
basketball.
Jim's doing sectional one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing sectional 1. I'm doing sectional fun. I'm doing 33. And that's Whiting and Bishop Knoll tonight at 6 o'clock, and then Drain and Roosevelt at 7:30. And your 2 games are Hammond High versus Hammond and Clark.
Yeah.
And then Westside versus Griffith. And you have a great nightcap, but your first one on paper looks a little bit one-sided. I mean, Jeremy Shannon's a hell of a player for the Clark Pioneers. Can get up the floor.
Well,
can dunk. Nice little dunk with you guys in the background. Christina and Pagatti. Sam got blocked out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
rivalry game, anything can happen. But I think, I mean,
it's going to be
the previous results speak for. They play them twice this year. I think they beat them by what, 30 or 40
combined almost 60 points. So not showing well. But like Coach Pagatti said on Tuesday a bunch of times that, hey, this is March, and
it's the Civic Center, and everybody shoots well at the Civic Center.
That's right.
Hey, Al Hammock dunked there one time. He said when he was in high school.
No.
Al Hammock said that?
Yes, he did.
Isn't he like 5'5"?
No, Al's pretty tall.
Al's tall?
He's like 6'6".
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
He was, Rick Smith.
If
back in the day.
no way Al Hammock's listening, but if he is, he has to call in right now.
He could be.
No,
he might. It's early for Al Hammock.
7 o'clock. He's a writer. They gotta be up until.
If he's listening, call in. I gotta
Al.
hear that.
I saw Al yesterday.
How tall is he?
He's probably 6'3".
Are you serious?
He was 6'6" back in the day.
I guess you never. You know what though? You see these
Back in the
guys,
day, yeah.
and they have their pictures in the paper, and you never really know. And I feel like when we do games, we never see Al Hammock. We see Steve Hanlon all the time.
Yeah,
he's not as tall.
That's our guy.
Yeah, Steve's just normal size, normal height guy. But Al's pretty tall. Yeah, when he's in here, you never watch the show when he's in here. You can see him sitting in his chair.
He'll be here next Wednesday.
Wednesdays, yeah, every other Wednesday.
He actually has a show here.
Yep.
He comes in, talks with Jim every other Wednesday. Yeah.
Really? I'll have to listen.
And
next
you
time.
claim to listen to the station.
I'm on the station. What are you talking about? I'm here right now. Where's Al?
Hey, we haven't introduced our special guest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Peter. This is my partner, Peter. I don't know. He's got his
Not
coffee.
Peter Griffin.
Peter Krakowski. Yeah, he'll be on me with me tonight, but he needs to get some sleep. He's a little fired up right now.
Hey, it's sectional Friday.
It's sectional Friday.
It's kind of like conference championship Sunday.
Jim's gonna blog about this later with the score. He's gonna title it the score of whatever game he does tonight.
Yeah, you're right about that. I feel bad for some people who are just waking up. Turn your radios down because Peter's yelling at the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I'm trying to bring some life.
The moon's still
this
out.
morning shows.
Thanks to Bill from Lowell.
So
Hey,
dead
the moon is out
early.
still.
It's hard to get excited.
We got Bill from Lowell listening and texting in that the moon is out still. That's fantastic that the moon is still out.
That's a good picture.
It means we
the
should be
sun's
sleeping
coming
still.
up.
It does.
It means we should be sleeping.
But the good news is it's starting to get, for us at least, waking up this early, it's starting to get to the point where like right around 6, you can start seeing the sun now. That didn't happen until almost closer to 7, about a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's starting to get a little bit better here. Because that is the most depressing thing about doing this. And you can attest, obviously, doing it much longer than I have. You wake up, you drive past everybody, everything's dark, everybody's lights are off.
You know what?
And your body says, go to bed, you idiot, what are you doing up?
No, listen, you think that's bad, and I can attest that a lot of times that is bad, especially when I have to work in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
How about that? Shout out Carpenter's sponsor.
We should move the station.
Shout out sponsor Carpenter's logo $5.99.
Can we move the station to its own time zone, Eastern time? Just the station itself?
No.
Yeah.
But
that got shot down pretty hard.
So last week I was working midnights, and one of the nights I was driving back from the city, and the sun was rising over the skyline.
Man,
it's a beautiful sight, isn't it?
How about that?
That's bad. At least you're going to bed, though.
Did you get cashed outside?
I should be sleeping.
But you were going to sleep, right?
Eventually, but you just don't just shut off.
Yeah, when you're in
the
the
bed.
city.
I don't know how you. I got to sit down. I got to watch something. I got to listen to Stephen A. Smith ramble about something, kind of like we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And eventually, I go to bed. But
let's start with your sectional first. I mean, Jim's going to talk about his sectional when he gets in here, and I'll go and look at some of the top players from the Whiting sectional. Hammond High, I've seen them a couple times. Probably would say Malik Miller's the leading player for them, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt he is. And you watch a couple other guys. Manuel Anderson's one of them. If folks don't remember who that is, Anderson was the gentleman when they played East Chicago Central called for that foul at the end of the game that, in some people's estimation, obviously cost them the game.
Wasn't a foul.
Correct. Yeah, he was kind of a fan of
it. It wasn't even close.
It really wasn't that close. But People remember.
Don't
that.
don't sugarcoat it. It wasn't close at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, somebody just drove by yelling out their window. I heard it through the.
Did they?
I didn't have my headphones turned up.
That's
all the
why.
way,
Where's
so-
Jim at?
Probably
They
telling
didn't
us to
beep.
Jim
shut
should
up.
be here right now on Silicon Boulevard.
That's right. He's probably telling us to shut up, whoever that was. Stop yelling.
Yeah.
But you think about Hammond, and they're pretty talented, right? And this is their sectional to win. But sometimes when it's that way, you think about it, and you guarantee the coaching staff's trying to make sure they don't do it. But what they're thinking about is Griffith or West Side, and probably they want Griffith to win, if I had to guess. And
You think
They're
Hammond
not-
fans do?
yeah, oh yeah, I bet they do. And they're not thinking
I don't
about
know,
Clark
'cause
tonight. So
It's just the
Be careful.
the rivalry thing of it.
to me, what I've heard, some things, and that it was not necessarily Hammond who decided who not to play those games.
Was
so
it, well, I thought it was the IHSAA.
I don't know. I'm just
And old
speaking
Bobby
totally off
Cox.
speculation. And if that's the case, then they maybe don't want to play him. But from what I've heard, it wasn't their decision not to play Griffith. And I would bet that they may want that matchup in the sectional championship and say, hey, you don't want to play us? I'll tell you what, we're supposed to win the section.
Griffith's
We're
a
the
hot
favorites.
basketball team, man.
They are playing well.
And Westside, we don't have Westside's. Maybe Ryan can pull up the John Harrell website. I don't know how Westside was towards the end of the year. I don't have my computer in front of me right now. I know the hot Gary team was Gary Roosevelt. Roosevelt was the
Yes.
really hot team towards the end of the year, and I believe they won. Is that your sectional, Ryan?
Yeah, they're
Roosevelt was
playing
playing it?
Andrean
Yes,
tonight.
they're playing Andrean tonight. It's going to be a
And
rematch game.
that's a really hot team right now. But Westside, I think they were hot, but I'm not sure how hot.
They're playing much better, I know, down the stretch these last couple of weeks. And like it usually is, I thought it was going to be a tough game against Lighthouse, and it turned out to be just that way. You see some guys, I'm walking around the sideline and getting the starters coming down to the scores table, whatever, and you see a guy like Devonair
They
Glass,
lost their last
6'7".
two
That's-
games.
see, that's-
to two
But
good
one
teams.
was in overtime to Gary Roosevelt, who's a really hot team, and one was to my number one team right now, Chesterton, I believe by a bucket, correct?
Mhm.
And other than that, I think they had won, 3 games before that?
They did. And,
Or I think you went to another team now.
no, they
By
you
accident.
were correct. 3 in a row before that, and 5 in a row from Gary Roosevelt.
Hmm.
And in the regular season, they won in overtime over Andrean.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
And Curtis Jones wasn't healthy in that.
you
race.
see a lot of times, and Sam talked about it a couple times this year. Sam's a big Gary Hayes guy, the old Griffith.
Who isn't a
basketball
big
coach.
Gary Hayes guy?
I'm a big.
Griffith.
You're a Griffith guy. I'm a Highland guy, so I try to hide my Griffith fandom. Although I love Griffith. It's a blue collar community, and I wish those communities do really well.
It's a beer town.
yeah.
They expect all the
There's a-
we'll
there's
talk
a
about that
brewery in
later.
every corner.
We'll
Beer
talk
in
about that
Griffith.
later.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
here's
brewery on every-
Jim coming in with the headband. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Peter Krakowski's here with Sam Michael and Ryan Walsh.
But but no, what were we talking
Talking about Griffith, go ahead.
No, Griffith is a team that I hope they do well, and I think that they're hot right now. I think they can beat that Gary Westside team.
Yeah.
I know Westside's hot.
I
They
think
lost
it's
a
gonna be
couple
great
close games. That's what I mean. They're a really good team, but I think Westside and the way Jake Dye really led that team the second half of the season. Because we got to get, and I was actually going to research this before the game tonight. I want to know what Griffith's record was before they started to turn this ship around.
I think they were weren't they 3-7, 3-8 at a point, something like that?
It was bad.
Hey, Jim's
They
going to
lost-
join us in a few minutes. He's making his tea, then he'll
Uh-oh.
join
He's
us.
making this team.
And Cindy,
Jim, have a donut.
good morning to Cindy. Enjoying the sports updates here this morning. Likes the high school basketball scene
Oh,
that we're talking
jeez.
about. Hey, by the way, the Blackhawks lost last night 7-2 to the San Jose Sharks. So
Could you believe that? It was 6-0 at one point too.
Oof.
And then the Hawks scored a goal at the bar, and everybody went nuts because it's the Hawks scoring.
well, it's Friday. Well, yeah, it was a late night game. It might have been after midnight when they
It-
scored. So it
Well,
had to be
no,
fire-
it wasn't
was
that.
it
It
Fireball?
wasn't that late. No, it's just the Hawks score, and
Fireball $3 at Johnny's tonight.
we
Uh-oh.
talked about this at the garage on Sunday. The Hawks score, and
Which garage?
the one that we do on Sunday nights, right?
The one we're at.
The one we're at. Yeah.
It is kind of bright in here.
And the Hawks score, and everybody gets excited about it because they're still, for the next at least couple months, the main team in Chicago. And then the tide's going to turn. It's going to become the Cubs as the main team. And NWI.com.
That's right. Updates for local news.
Let's do it.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. Absolutely.
No, but my whole thing was real fast. The way the tide turns in Chicago, it stinks that the Hawks dynasty is ending, but that's just kind of how it goes. The 80s were the Bears, quickly got forgotten. The 90s were the Bulls. Early 2000s were kind of a toss-up, and then
Chicago Fire.
yes, MLS. Let's go.
Don't get him started on that.
No, let's not do that. And then, the Hawks took it over with their dynasty. Now it's the Cubs. Eventually, it's going to be the Sox or the Bears. So people will forget about the Hawks really soon. It stinks to see a dynasty come to an end. But, that might have been a nail in the coffin. A 6-1. Or was it 6-1 defeat?
Yes. No, 7-2.
7-2, yeah. You can't have that.
No, you can't. Yeah, getting back to the high school basketball scene, who do you have as your favorite in the Lake Central sectional?
I think it's Munster. I said it at the beginning, and I still think it is. They had to avoid scare against Lowell, and then I think now it's a little bit easier. I think Lowell was playing so well that was their toughest matchup so far. And Lake Central's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be a great game tonight. But if they can get past Lake Central, then you got to like their chances against East Chicago or against Morton no matter what. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, this is, again, it's March. Teams, if you're close enough, if you even have a chance to win, you're going to win or at least make it a close game. So there's never too many blowouts. Even tonight, Clark-Hammond, I still think that game's going to stay within 15 points. And just because it's March. I mean, are those teams within 15 points? No, they proved that Hammond's 25, 30 points better. But because it is the March season, I anticipate probably within 10 points tonight. Clark at least keeping it close.
You Sam Michaels, Peter Krakowski also here, Ryan Walsh. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to be joined by morning host Jim Deedlow. Just to wrap it up one last time, Indiana, if you didn't stay up for it last night, you made the right call. They blow a 16-point lead and their season is over, losing to Rutgers by a score of 76-69 in their opening game of the Big Ten tournament. Good riddance to this horrible senior class of players at Indiana basketball. I want to give a quick plug out to all that came out last night to Johnny's Tap. Matt Mack was there, Ken Davidson, Mark Forright, Wayne Micka, Dave Kuziak, Lisa Kuziak. Had a great time. And after the basketball tonight, we'll see you at Johnny's Tap, and it's Fireball Friday, $3 shots of Fireball. Sign us up. All right, we'll be back in a moment with Jim Deedlow. We're going to keep talking a little basketball. It's Sectionals Friday, here on the Face and the Voice of the Region.
This is Pete Corellis with Corellis Roofing. Over the past months, you've heard on WJOB some of the names of the top roofing and sheet metal craftsmen our industry has to offer. Because of these dedicated craftsmen and many others at Corellis Roofing, we have been fortunate to have had the opportunity to continue to grow our business. We are currently looking for roofing installers at all experience levels. If you are interested in a career, not just a job, if you're interested in medical benefits, not just for you, but for your entire family, if you're interested in an excellent retirement plan, then Corellis Roofing could be the company for you. All applicants must pass a pre-employment drug test and random drug testing throughout their employment. If you are interested in becoming a member of our team, please apply online at Corellis.com or in person at 1333 169th Street in Hammond. Thank you.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
You know, I enjoy watching basketball at home, but I think we should go over to Johnny's Tap in Munster for drinks and fun.
Yeah, I like going to Johnny's Tap.
Speaking of fun, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Fun. Mr. Who and Mrs. Who? Mr. and Mrs. Fun, but they're at Johnny's Tap.
Okay, I'll see you there at the corner of Broadmoor and Calumet Avenue. Yeah, I like going to Johnny's Tap.
Johnny's Tap. New ownership, now smoke-free, and still the home of Mr. and Mrs. Fun.
A real neighborhood type of place.
Rush Radiosurgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radiosurgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radiosurgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
AM 1230 WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. I'm Jim Deedlow, and since I'm 56 years old, I have to turn the headphones up higher than where Ryan has them there. A little bit better. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan. Also, Skyway Toll Road, Borman I-65. I can't believe it. I think that's the first time this year there hasn't been any traffic on any of those roads, and that's what we're seeing. Of course, if you have traffic, you know what to do. Give us a call, 219-845-1100, or text to that line. Excellent picture of a beautiful moon out right now. If you guys got a chance and you're just sitting with your coffee, walk out, look to the east, man. It just is beautiful over the horizon. Let's take a look at Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Thanks a lot to Napleton for sponsoring the traffic. Let's take a look at the weather. Beautiful day, mostly sunny, high of 43. Tomorrow, high of 47, plenty of sunshine. And then Sunday, plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. In a last-minute scheduling change, my daughter called me yesterday. Evidently, Ryan might be able to get her a press pass for Madison Square Garden. And I told her, I said, well, why don't you talk to Ryan tomorrow about getting a Friday night? And I'm sure you would love to report for us on the Purdue-IU game that is going to be tonight. Well, Rutgers.
Stop it.
Rutgers got their.
Jim's actually a Purdue fan, isn't he?
Hit the buzzer.
I know he had this.
Hit the
You know
buzzer.
what?
Big time, man.
Expired.
And
Yeah.
they laid an egg big time. The Hoosiers did. But I'll tell you
Were
what.
we up 19-2?
Oh, God. I saw that on my phone.
24-6, I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to go to Sam's house to watch the game because I thought it was over. I was getting out of school and 19-2. Okay, they're not going to come back. It's Rutgers. They're the worst team in the Big Ten. Nah.
Yeah, well,
they're winning at halftime.
Rutgers was 14th seed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First 14th seed in
Winning
the
at
conference
halftime.
tournament to
That was
go
the first.
to the quarterfinals.
That was the first Rutgers win over Indiana University too, I believe.
It was.
Oh my gosh! And I'll tell you what, in New York City though, they just for general attendance and excitement, I got to believe that Big Ten is actually pretty happy about that because now you got the hometown team that's going to go into a Friday night, and that should drive some ticket sales and get them some bigger audiences on the big television market. But in terms of basically being embarrassed, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, as you guys well know, I like Purdue, and that's our first love. But we don't want to see Indiana go to New York City and get beat by a New York City team. That's just like it's just horrible.
Now you do.
And now Purdue's got to be worried. They almost lost that Rutgers.
What if Purdue loses to Rutgers?
It was a 2-point
You know
game.
what? That was a very close game.
And then after that, they lost the next their next three games.
So we're going to have those games all day, and
We'll have the two morning session games today.
We'll have the two morning
get the two
sessions.
semifinals tomorrow, then we'll get the
How's it
final
going to
on Sunday.
work? So when the sectionals start, is the Big Ten going to be on the radio,
No.
or is it's going to be the sectional?
Sectional, yeah.
The sectionals.
On bounce coverage.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they'll
Okay.
be doing bounce coverage
That's
tonight. And Ryan Walsh and Sam Michael are here, and Peter Krakowski has also been announcing with us for quite some time now. Peter, you're Carpenter, is that right?
Carpenter, local 599. Well, that's not really a free shout out because they're a sponsor.
Yeah, they
But
definitely are. So-
Jim Slagle was here earlier today. He's my business agent.
Yesterday.
Well, geez. Yeah, you're right. It was yesterday.
Go to bed.
it all runs together. Hopefully, you're going to get a little nap there, Krakowski, before you come out.
We're going to.
Let's go around these sectionals, and I think what's happening is that all these sectionals are even. These guys asked me in the break who's going to win the Lake Central sectional, and you know what I said? Yes.
You didn't say anything. You said we'll talk about it on the air.
Because here's why. All right, let's take the first game. You've got a storyline here of Morton. Morton could be the sentimental favorite for the entire region in that their coach died on January 8th, I think. Yes, January 8th. And that was Coach Robert Hall. And then Scott Lush, the longtime Morton guy.
He was a JV assistant, I think, correct?
Scott Lush is kind of
something
there.
like that.
He's the baseball coach, too.
He's the baseball coach. Scott
He was
Lush,
always there.
Yeah, he holds Morton together, him and Brock and Easton, and they've just got a group of people that have been there. He was the logical choice, but that's very difficult. Can you imagine just in the middle of the season your coach dies?
And they won They won like 2 days later.
Yep, they played 2 days later,
Yeah.
which was surprising.
And a lot of times, you obviously, you forfeit that game or whatever you have to do. It's a regular season game. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But they played that game and they won. And they beat a pretty good team from what I remember. Sam, I don't know if you remember who they played that game.
I should. I'm trying
Was
to
it
blank,
EC?
too. It was.
They beat
It was
EC.
EC. Yep,
They beat
yep.
EC. So you've got
And EC's still a solid team.
EC and Morton squaring off in the first game. that's a dead heat right now.
Yeah.
I mean, EC, to be honest, might have a little bit of an edge there, but you have that storyline, and then you have the EC storyline. Where were we last year at this time? We were talking about Turkovich, right?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, Turkovich, and remember the big hullabaloo at the regionals and the racism comment. So you got two pretty big dramatic storylines there. And then in the second game, you have Lake Central, which doesn't have as good a record as Munster does. But let me tell you something. I was there. That hometown advantage was 6 points on when they played. Lowell.
Crown Point.
Crown Point.
What?
Yeah, they beat Crown Point. Munster beat Lowell.
Yeah.
And you could just see it. The kids came out. They were comfortable. Malosnik, who is, is usually as exciting as a doorknob. He was walking around and he was smiling. He was happy to be home. And
I heard the chicken was great there.
And by the way, they had Pepino's chicken and the sausage with the peppers on it. I don't eat meat sausage, but I had the chicken and the peppers and a salad. I've never had a better pregame meal.
I heard you had it very close to tip-off.
Yeah, we had all the
That's never good. You love when I eat JJ's fish and chicken right next to tip-off, don't you? I sit right next to you. That's always a great time. I might do that today. It's Friday.
Yeah, you've got full license
I'm
to
Catholic.
do that.
I'm going to throw you off the balcony if you do.
Yeah, they
I
better
got to
have,
eat fit today, Sam.
Yeah.
they better have fish.
They're doing pierogi at Whiting tonight.
Yes. So here's the deal. In
Are they
that
really?
sectional, there's 4 teams that have an equal chance to win that game. Because whoever comes out of that first game, I don't discount them against, say, a Munster that's coming in at, 17-6.
Well,
it's an entirely flat sectional. Maybe, you asked me the question, I'm going to answer this. If anyone has an edge, it's Lake Central because they're at home. And that is, I mean, they would love, there's excitement in that whole school. I've talked to parents. They're so excited to have the sectional. They didn't like driving to East Chicago, and a lot of people were coming out. They were saying that wouldn't normally come out. So the energy is in their favor. And if they beat Munster, I would not want to be Morton or EC on Saturday night.
2 questions for you real quick, Jim. Me and Sam had talked on Sunday during our show. We said that I don't think, and this is even before, a couple teams got eliminated, I don't think there was a clear favorite in that sectional. Did you feel like there was a clear favorite at all?
Well, I think Munster on the record.
On paper, but they were banged up too, from what I understand.
Munster's problem is that can you win a sectional? Can you even compete at the regional without a big man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nick Feis is a very good, he could play on any team in the state of Indiana as a 4, but he's not a 5. They don't have the guy in the middle that if I'm Munster, I'm worried about Justin Graciano taking that game over tonight because he's a big, wide body. He's a little bit mean, and he's got touch from outside, inside. I think Kuziak said he grew late, so he has kind of good ball handling skills, and he can shoot the 3.
Good Kuz analysis.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, but it did in that one. And but on the other hand, I got to tell you, I haven't seen a game in a while where a kid took it over like Javon Morris did in the 4th quarter when Munster almost lost to Lowell. And I said at the end of the 3rd quarter, I go, Kuz, Munster doesn't win unless Javon Morris turns it up a notch. And I'll tell you what, it's almost like he was listening. He came out and he had 12 points in the 4th quarter. That's crazy.
He did that to Highland when we were there too a couple of months ago, and that was probably the reason Highland lost when
the 4th quarter he took it over, and Highland were they winning going into the 4th quarter? It might have been down a couple points.
It was either
and
1 point either way. Yeah,
it was kind of like watching Rutgers versus Indiana last night.
Yeah,
well,
that's a pretty good one. Hey, let's go to your guys' sectional.
Well, I want to say one last thing about that game. Dan Repe and I did the regular season game between Munster and Lake Central, and the guards struggled to shoot from outside for Lake Central in that close loss. So let's see how the guards play against Munster's good guards.
And you know what? I thought they were solid with Tomasic and Hobbs. They're the same player. That's kind of the problem. You kind of need one to be a ball handler and one to be a, more of a slasher. But they hold it. I think they take care of the ball as well as anybody in that sectional, and that's a big factor in a sectional.
One quick thing, Jim, too, before we move on to the 3A sectional. This sectional, obviously, this year it moved. I think this is the first year it being at Lake Central, correct?
Yes.
From moving to East Chicago. How has it been so far? I know you're not really going to get the actual feel of, especially, the crowd support until this weekend tonight and Saturday night. But how is it so far being from EC where, especially during the weekdays, you get people in there, but the place is so big that you don't really feel the crowd as much. Lake Central, it's smaller. How was the energy during the week?
And I think that's a testament to a lot of Dyer St. John Cherville coming out and kind of supporting the whole movement. I was against this. And I told the athletic director, I went over there and there's a reason that I get treated badly sometimes. And I go there and he comes out and he's Chris Enyart. He's like so excited. Thanks for coming out. We need these games promoted. Thank you for putting them on the air. As a matter of fact, that's the reaction we're getting all over the place now versus last year when nobody wanted us. And so he was all excited about it. And that is the energy that has come to this sectional. And I think that, that people know this. And when they go down to make the decisions, and maybe they'll keep a rotation. But I told him, I go, hey, man, I was against this. And after the first night, I think I told him on Wednesday after the first night, I go, I was against it, and I'll just be straight up with you, and I probably dissed it on the air. But I'll tell you what, you guys are doing a first-class job. This is a great place to hold a sectional. It almost reminds me, we were talking about the old Calumet sectional, where they have the big track up top and people walking around, and it was kind of a crazy atmosphere. That's what it is. And you know what, people... anybody tonight who comes and hits us in the back, me and Kuziak, we must have had 25 different people do that, including Lake Central's coach. And they all know they're not supposed to do it. Malaznik comes up and he's walking by after his win, and he jacks me and Kuziak in the back. And we're trying to do a game.
How many hugs did you get?
Oh, stop, will you? If any EC guy comes up for a hug and think you're going to be funny, just keep going, all right? Hey, let's go to Hammond right now. Hammond Civic Center. I'm telling you, I know who the favorite is there.
Do you?
I do.
I think it's Westside.
It's Gary Westside.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I saw them play.
Favorite, huh?
A favorite. Big time favorite, I think.
Oh, come on.
I think that Griffith's gonna
Hammond's got a free road to the championship game.
Yes, they do. And they're at home. I don't know if that one gets leveraged as much as the Lake Central home site.
Well, I mean, they're not at home, but they're across the street. So
yeah, it's you're right. It's not the same. It obviously is.
It's not their home gym.
Correct. Yeah.
That's everybody in the region's home gym. That's the best place, in my opinion. That's the best place to play. Honestly, in the state of Indiana at the high school level,
I love the Civic
Center.
I
love that, and I love that place.
And Sam, I hadn't been there when there's people in there.
Yeah.
They redid the floor.
Right.
And they resurfaced it again, and that's a big deal.
Peter was part of that, actually.
Oh, you did?
I built the bleachers. Carpenter's logo $5.99. Another free shout out.
You know what? Those aren't free shout outs.
No, they pay.
Let me tell you what. There's a certain amount of your check that comes out to pay for that. So
it's true.
Leave it at that.
Carpenter's logo $5.99. Built the bleachers. I don't know who did the floor,
but it does the
probably
floor.
Us too.
Speaking of the floor, it looks great, and everything looks great, and the basketball is good too now. I mean. It's been a good section, and we talked about it a couple of days ago how I wish they would play some more games there. But right now, you're just going to watch the sectional, and tonight we're thinking maybe Clark stays with Hammond for a while, and hopefully maybe they pull a miracle or something and keeps it close.
Obviously, as a broadcaster, you hope they stay for a while. But I mean, the scores speak for themselves. Me and Ryan were looking it up. What was it, 40-point games both times, something like
pretty
that?
Much.
Bring some second half stories, like old Hammond High and Clark stories. And
we'll bring the Civic Center stories because you can go on literally for an entire half about how many things have happened in that building. That's like I said, that's one of my favorite buildings in the state of Indiana.
And Ryan and Sam are going to be out for the Hammond Hall of Fame dinner that is coming up, and we'll have them out there. I will actually be gone for a couple of days during that period. So let's go back to the Griffith West Side. Sam?
It's going to be tough. I mean, Griffith got a really tough draw, and you had to beat a pretty good Lighthouse team in the first game, and all of this, again, is trying to culminate to that Griffith-Hammond championship on Saturday if they can get there. But you mentioned it. I have not seen Westside this year. I've heard about the athleticism. I've heard about how lanky and fast they can be. Lighthouse was that, but I think from what I've heard, Westside may be the same thing, but a little bit tougher. So
Westside me and Ryan looked. They just lost to, I think, the number one team in at least my poll, and I think a lot of other people's polls, Chesterton, by a point.
Yeah.
And then they lost in overtime to Roosevelt, who's a really hot team.
Right, and I know Griffith kind of played everybody like that similar. I don't think they played Chesterton, but they beat Highland, who lost to Chesterton by 1-2. So I mean, it's kind of a. Again, it's so much parity, and I think it's going to be a great game tonight. And even if Griffith gets down early, they have proven themselves that they are able to come back. And so even if Westside opens up a 15-point lead, it might feel like it's over, but Lighthouse got up 20-6, and I'm like, goodness gracious, is Griffith just going to get run out of here?
No, that's just that's the MO.
Yeah.
Griffith got laid off the bus, and they started playing halfway through the second
It was
quarter.
And you know what though, Griffith could have beat that team by 20 points if they wanted to, and we had that whole field. I mean, I didn't call that game. You called that with Coach Coach
Pagatti.
Coach Pagatti from South Suburban. But every commercial break I sat right behind you, and I told you, I go, listen, Griffith could be up right now by 10, 15 points if they want to, but they were just playing so lackluster. It felt like the entire game. And eventually, in the second half, they pulled away. In the fourth quarter, as Coach Pagatti said, it wasn't really exciting. And he actually thought that first game was more exciting, the Clark Gravitt game.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
And because you knew Griffith never was going to lose that game, and they just kept let them stay in it the entire time. But
here's the one I was looking for. Morton beat Westside by, Westside beat Morton by 23 points.
There you go.
And that is the game that I'm like, wow, this is a real team, because Morton is going to stay with EC today and maybe even give them a game, maybe even win that thing. So they beat the Morton Governors by 23 points. That's a statement right there.
I think
that's why, to me, they're the favorites.
I think the interesting thing right there, too, look at those last 4 games. An overtime winner against Andrea, that was a team that was up and down all year. They beat them 62-58 in overtime. They beat Calumet, who's a team that got hot towards the end of the year by a couple points, 54-51. And then they lost close, like I said, to that Gary Roosevelt team on the road that got hot towards the end of the year. They played probably the most tough schedule in the region. They played a lot of out-of-state schools and then lost in overtime and then lost to the number 1 team, Chesterton. So that's a really good Gary Westside team. And Griffith, I don't know if they played team. I know they scheduled tough towards the end of the year. As we were talking before we went on the air, that was the Coach Gary Hayes' schedule. I'm assuming he's the one that made that schedule last year.
Well, they beat Central. They beat Central on the last day of the year, and they played Bowman, which of course isn't in the tournament. And then Griffith won at Highland. And then of course there's a big thing on February 6th. Griffith and Hammond were canceled.
Well,
it was?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Hey, the IHSA does not want that game on Saturday.
They do not want that game. And once again, we are on the Facebook Live for all of these games, and we're going to talk about that in a second, how that has changed things around here, and hopefully it's having some sort of effect. Ryan, let's go to your sectional. That'll be up at Whiting, and tell us, what are the games again?
First one up is at 6 o'clock. It's Whiting and Bishop Knoll. That's a rematch. Bishop Knoll, they had their big 1988 party and brought in Whiting for that because Coach Mercer was part of that team that went down to the Final Four. And it was a close game. Bishop Knoll was losing late in the game, even had a couple of technical fouls late. Sam did that game with Peter and Dave Kuziak. Emotions are going to be running high. These two teams absolutely despise each other. And I see some trash talks going on all week that they wanted to face each other again. And then the nightcap is another one that there's some trash talking going on. Andrain and Roosevelt have been a great rivalry. And in the 3A level over the last couple of years, but they're both down in the 2A sectional. Carruthers, Jones, Ross are the leaders for Andrain, and for Gary Roosevelt, a guy that we haven't really talked much about. He's Roosevelt. They don't really send us stuff. Dekai Hines, who's a 6'6" lane clogger on defense. He blocked a lot of shots on Tuesday night from Lake Station. He can also throw it down with the best of them. He's a good dunker. You have.
Can I stop you on Roosevelt here? Look at this. 1, 2, 3. I don't know what is that?
Out-of-state teams.
They're out-of-state teams. The only one they lost to is a small college team,
and that's why they were so written off the entire year. I feel like they weren't in anybody's top 10 poll, and all of a sudden, look at that. Since December 28th, they beat Orchard Farm from Missouri. How many games did they lose? 1 to LaPorte La Lumiere, who's the number 3 team in the country.
Yes, in the country, you're right. If you get USA Today, you're always looking at LaPorte La Lumiere, and I guess we don't really cover them, and they're not in a state tournament and stuff. But there were, if you read some of the comments on some of the blogs, some of the people have LaPorte La Lumiere as the number 1 team in the country, and of course they soundly beat Gary Roosevelt. But Roosevelt has a nice resume from December 28th. Other than La Lumiere, they did not lose. They beat Lake Station, which is a really good team. They beat Indianapolis Manual. They beat Lighthouse, Griffith, Westside, River Forest, actually pretty good. And they beat Andrain at Andrain. So this, to me, is your favorite, Ryan. Whoever comes out of this game tonight of Roosevelt, Andrain, is a favorite tomorrow night against probably Bishop.
Even if Andrean wins and then has to face Bishop, it's at Whiting. I'm sorry, I was thinking it was at Knoll.
Well, it's kind of a home game. It's more of a home game for Knoll than it is. Hey, let's talk here, guys. We have, as you guys well know, we shifted. It's a historic sectionals for us because we shifted from radio to video, and we'd love you guys' input on it. Many sponsors stepped up, and we are, stretching our technological capabilities to the limit. But my theory has been from the beginning to energize high school basketball that it has to be on television. It has to be, even if it's on your phone or whatever it is. Otherwise, people are just not, it's not going to get, that's where people get their media. And I guarantee you, when WJOB started doing these games in 1930, there were people that were saying, no, man, don't do the games on the radio. People won't come out, this and that. It has been it's been a 90-year run of the radio, and we changed it around this time around. Ryan, your thoughts on how that has affected things?
Well, we've been able to go out to more sites. We only have 1230 and 104.7, and we're 2 years away from being able to separate what's going to be on 1230 and 104.7. So we wouldn't be able to go out and do all of these and get them on for the entire broadcast. We'd only be able to get part of the broadcast on the air and televise. So it's been great that we have these camera people that are around us that helping out. Christina, Ben, Jimmy. Who's been working with that, like Central on the camera?
That is Nick Hedrick out of Hammond here. And then I've got all my Purdue broadcasting students. They're out there to get credit, but actually they're out there to be free labor.
Stephen Book. Yeah, we've got a great cast. I mean, making it happen.
Well, I understand that, but here's my I want it to be a factor in getting more people into high school basketball, because I think what's happened is that it really hasn't had the connections with fans that it should have up here. And I've had this discussion with people downstate, other AP voters. We have an AP vote, and then with people at the IHSAA, we've lost a little bit of connection with what is really the premier event here in Northwest Indiana in terms of sports. And I want people to see these games, and maybe this year it won't necessarily carry over, but they want to see them on their phones. And then all of a sudden you're a guy who's 48 years old and your kids are already moved on and stuff. You don't really have a reason to go to the game. Next thing you know, these people are coming back and going to the games. Sam, your comment.
I hope that's the case. And I mean, I've watched it for years. I remember when I was a little bit younger, right? And I'm honestly more involved in the high school side of sports, especially basketball, than I was when I was in school and when I was a younger kid in middle school, anything like that. I remember the Highland Munster games of years past when the Highland Gymnasium was packed to the rafters.
You had to get there by halftime of the JV game in order to get a seat.
How about when Demuth was there and stuff in the girls' games? And I've seen
they
videos.
They were tailgating since school got out at 2:54.
Right.
They were tailgating from 3:15 on.
Yeah, I mean,
and those were the glory days. And I think WJOB, not to cut you off, but I think WJOB, by covering more games now, because before it was always you had the one game on the radio. And if you were that one game on the radio, you knew you were the big time.
Right.
I think by covering multiple games now, it really just brings the interest more, and it makes it seem like more of a big deal. And I hope that it gets back to the level that it once was. You start seeing bigger student sections, more students tailgating before the games, and everything like that.
And then the video gives us, or the radio as well. I mean, as you mentioned, the 48-year-old that doesn't have kids still in the school system. I mean, just a casual basketball fan, they don't want to go out and spend $6, $12, $18, $24, $30, $36 to take their family.
I get that part, and you are correct. There's a cost factor there. This is still the best value. And over the last, I would say, 5 years, I've been a little disappointed when I go to the games, and I know we've got a great matchup, and, there's 1,500 people in the stands.
That's the thing, and it's worth it. Like Ryan just said, you don't want to spend that much money to take your family. I feel like that's worth it if you're going to get that atmosphere, too, because that was always the thing to me. When I was growing up, I loved going and seeing that atmosphere, feeling like this game mattered.
Yeah.
All those people there, and you just felt like that was the big time. You see stuff on ESPN, professionals, college, whatever. This was the biggest thing going on in your community, and that's how it felt for so many years. And since then, it just died off. And if it got back up to then yeah, the $6, $8, $12 or whatever, that would be worth it to take your family to go see the game.
And there are more things going on the weekends now where, in the older days, Friday night, Saturday nights were, we say it now for college football, Saturdays are for the boys. Well, Friday night, Saturday night during the winter was for basketball. Now there's so many things going on. There's drama clubs, there's theater clubs, It's not just dedicated to one thing going on where everything just shut down for basketball.
Well, I'm looking right now here at this Wisconsin, Michigan, and we're having all these games on the radio here today. And I would like to pattern after what happened with the Big Ten Network. I think the Big Ten was starting to lull a little bit in terms of the meaning that it had to the campus communities. All of a sudden, you go down to Purdue, you go IU, maybe not nearly as much right now, but in general they are. You get the basketball team is the center all winter long, and part of that is that they get to watch every game, even the ones that are far away. To me, that we have to do that same thing with high school basketball around here to make that connection with the fans.
You just talked about the Blackhawks a little bit, right, and how much they have really struggled the end of last year and this entire season. But one thing they did a number of years ago, I mean, I remember 03, 04, Alex Jamnov and Steve Sullivan and Jocelyn Tebow and these guys when they
how do you pull those names?
You like that? Yeah.
He was a diehard. Listen, he was a diehard before all the white girls were diehards.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Eric Daze and these guys like that. Remember those guys? And well, even Amani, when Amani was there, they were good. But these guys I'm talking about, they were 48 points in a season. It's like, oh my gosh. But I was sitting there, I'm falling asleep, and I got my little radio, and there's Pat Foley right in my ear. And I think Pat Foley was one of the guys who was right at the top. Big save, right at the top of my list of broadcasters who really got me into watching. And they always said, right, the old Bill said, we're not putting the games on, the home games on. Bill Wirtz, because if we put the home games on, why are people going to come to the stadium? Well, Bill, he had 7,500 people at all of his games. Nobody was coming anyways. So as soon as he passed away, in all honesty, I hate to say this, but it was the best thing that ever happened to the Blackhawks, because Rocky Wirtz said, we're putting the games on, we're putting them all of them on, and people are going to see what great product we have. They're going to see how awesome it is when we sing the anthem, and everybody's shouting, and when the stands are full, and they hear that classic goal horn go off, and they're going to want to be here. Yeah, you got to be good, too. That helps. But once they saw it, they wanted to come. And I think it's the same way. I mean, Bill Wirtz had that theory that if you put it on, they're not going to come. I think it's the exact opposite. If you see it, again, right, the old baseball from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they'll come. If the folks can see it on their screen and see the excitement, that gives them more of a chance to want to go to the game.
Ryan, you're getting much better acceptance this year around from schools, fans, students. Mostly the athletic directors are all of them are hitting us and saying, hey, thanks for coming out. We're excited about this. That's a world of change. And I think part of it is you've got some younger guys and some more energy in the athletic director levels. And they're saying, hey, you're right. You got to see the games or people aren't going to come. It's an advertisement for the games. So I'm glad that that's changed.
Yeah. Last year there's maybe 4 or 5 schools that were not keen on us doing it. And this year it's just one school that doesn't want us to do it. So I'm not going to throw out the name. But, yeah, a lot of younger athletic directors coming through the area. There's been a high turnover the last couple of years around Northwest Indiana in athletic directors. It's not the most satisfying gig. I mean, it's a lot of work, a lot of weekends, early mornings, late nights, locking up the fences for football and closing down the gymnasiums in the wintertime and the weather's crummy.
You mentioned the big thing, though, too, Jim, and you keep saying this about how people can watch it where? Not on their TVs necessarily, but what Peter's got right next to him is his phone, right? That's the biggest change. Ryan, you mentioned some of the other changes kind of in athletics and things like that. It's not always the big 3 anymore of baseball, football, and basketball, but it's spread out among the sports. It's spread out amongst the after-school activities, and it's really spread to technology, and people have other stuff to do. So we have, and Facebook Live allows us to do this, and it's kind of genius that we were able to pick up on it. I remember when you came back from that conference a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and said we got to get on Facebook Live. And I was kind of like, I guess we'll see what happens. And it's simple. It just goes right to their phone. And the kids are always on their phone. They've got the spinner and they've got this and that. And it's all back to the phone. And that's where the games are.
And the coolest thing about it was, I showed up after school. I got to go, watch the first half of, was it Griffith and Gary Lighthouse with you? You were calling the game with Coach. And I got to watch the end of, on my phone, I got to watch the end of Highland and Morton. You and Kuz on the call, you guys both freaking out, talking at the same time. after those exchange of threes, what's his name? Pulley Blanks hit a 3 from Highland, and then Morton matched it, and you and Kuz are both talking. at the same time.
Here's the deal, just so you guys know. Kuz and I can do whatever we want, including.
Well, I know
including
but
talking. But you guys can't do that.
No. Hey, I can call you on it because I don't get paid nothing, so you can. I can call you out on it.
Well, you actually have a little bit more authority because you are a local 599 member. So you're
another shout out, Carpenter's Local 599.
Ryan, final comments.
Well, I talked to Kuziak last night. He's fired up. He said we have great basketball games all over the area. John Pagatti texted me last night. They won their game 68-49. They made it to the regional semifinal.
Is he going to be with me tonight?
He's going to be with you tonight, and he's got a bunch of IU jokes. So I won't be listening. I'll be watching. So,
come on, Coach.
He's
I was just starting to like
he's
the
an
guy.
IU hater. So he'll be rolling on. He'll be making fun of me throughout the night, and I know you'll enjoy that because you don't like IU. And then Dan Repay's excited for the Progies. I talked to him this morning. And
who isn't?
Hey, listen, I do have to.
We got to switch sectionals.
Yeah, I got to give some thanks here to some guys. John Pagatti and Dave Kuzak donating their time to be the color analysts at this sectional out at Lake Central. Dan Repay at Class 2A. He has been with us all season long. I don't know how. I would have never pictured him as a good analyst, but he's very good and knows the game very well and knows these teams very well. And the same thing goes for Peter Krakowski, who's sitting right here. He is a local 599 guy, and he's going to be putting his time in at the Hammond Civic Center with Sam Michael. I'll put our broadcast teams up against anybody. You'll be able to listen to them. It'll be a little bit out of control with first Pagatti and then Kuziak, and they're both primed up.
You and Kuziak.
We'll do a three-man broadcast.
No, I'm not doing three-man. I'm not doing three-man.
That would be...
Because here's what happens. The ball goes through the basket, and they're supposed to talk from the time they get...
And everybody talks at the same time.
And everybody will talk at the same time.
Well, you and Kuz couldn't even handle that the other night.
No, we can't. Kuz is not a believer that people on the radio need to know what's happening.
Hey,
he just wants to talk about the great... he just wants to give some real color to it. And
listen,
the people are driving around going, who scored? What happened?
Hey, WJOB could be the first... team ever to do a four-man. Listen, me, you, Kuz, and Sam next week regionals, four-man broadcast, revolutionary, never been done before, never will be done again.
He's Peter Krakowski. Hear him at Hammond Civic Center. Thanks to him and all your local 599 brothers. He's Sam Michael. He'll be the call at Hammond Civic Center. And, of course, Ryan Walsh is not only the call at Whiting tonight, but he has put all of this together. Typically, here's where I beseech you guys to write us some more checks, but we're sold out. We're oversubscribed. And I want to thank everybody who stepped forward to make sure that video of high school basketball gets on. Thanks a lot to Ramirez and the Region Sports Network. We didn't even get to talk about their sectional. I'll do a little bit of that, but that's at Chesterton. We're also going to have some Illinois games come to our WJOB feed, and I'll announce that, I'll maybe even later today. So it's catching on. If you don't go to the game, make sure you watch it. But really what you need to do is take a look at right now, out of the 5 out of the 6 games in Lake County are almost dead heats. Maybe Hammond High's got a significant advantage over Clark. Any sectional you choose, you will get good value for your money. And just do me a favor. If you're at the Lake Central sectional, do not come up to the booth and want to talk to Kuz during the broadcast because he doesn't have the discipline to just start talking to you as you walk by.
Talk to him at the Cavalier Inn after.
Talk to you guys. Johnny's Tap after this time.
Johnny's Tap back.
Yeah, Kenny and guy will be there.
Shout out. Yeah.
There you go.
I just want to say that. Want to say thank you. After Peter stops laughing, thanks to our radio listeners as well. We have been rewarded with more NCAA tournament games. Talked to our Westwood 1 rep yesterday. We'll have some games. It's the 15th and 16th, Thursday and Friday. We will have some games on the radio Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament. So thanks to all our radio listeners, our loyalists.
All right, I'll be right back.
For generations, you've trusted Edgewater Systems to provide compassionate, high-quality care. As the science of behavioral health has evolved, it's revealed the important connection between physical and behavioral health. With this in mind, we're pleased to introduce Edgewater Health, which includes primary care, in addition to our long-standing mental health and addiction services. Whichever combination of services you need, Edgewater Health is here for you for your whole life. Learn more at edgewaterhealth.org.
Do you have or are you at high risk for cardiovascular disease, also known as CVD or heart disease? Are you unable to take statin medications due to side effects? You may be eligible for a clinical research study being conducted to test the safety and effectiveness of an investigational medication that may help to reduce the occurrence of major CVD events, such as heart attacks and strokes, for patients with or at risk for CVD who are also statin intolerant. To qualify, you must be at least 18 years of age, have a history of or are at high risk for CVD, have not been able to tolerate 2 or more statins, and meet additional study criteria. Qualified participants will receive all study medication and study-related care from a dedicated team of medical staff at no cost. Health insurance is not required to participate. To find out more and to see if you qualify, call Cardiovascular Research of Northwest Indiana, LLC at 219-203-1990. That's 219-203-1990. Call now. 219-203-1990.
AM 1230 WJOB in Hammond, Indiana, and it is 6:40. What time is it? It's time to go to Albert's.
What gets you fired up when you think about college? Explore your roar at Purdue University Northwest. With 2 exciting campuses in Hammond and Westville, more than 70 areas of study, and NCAA Division II athletics, Purdue Northwest offers it all at an excellent value. Learn more at pnw.edu and apply today. That's pnw.edu. Join the pride at Purdue Northwest.
Do you have a family history of heart disease or diabetes? St. Catherine Hospital Cardiovascular Prevention Center providers are offering free assessments to help determine your risk for heart disease and other related medical conditions. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 11:30 a.m., you can stop by the center at 7217 Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond for assessments like an ABI leg circulation test, blood pressure, body mass index, random glucose assessment, and more. You must be 18 or older, and walk-ins are welcome. You have only one body. Let St. Catherine Hospital of Community Healthcare System help you take care of it. You can also call 219-392-7CVP to book an appointment today.
Men, are you taking Viagra or Cialis for ED? ED should not stand for expensive drugs. If you're taking Viagra, talk with your doctor about sildenafil. Now you could get the same active ingredient in Viagra in generic 20 milligram tablets for less than $2 each, saving over $30 per dose. Available at Vito's Pharmacy. Call us 219-228-7200 or visit us at vitospharmacy.com.
Vito's Pharmacy.
Did you know that Hammond, Indiana is having their first annual St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 17th at 1 p.m.? The parade route extends from 173rd Street in Kennedy to 161st Street. Please join us. We are going green, and don't forget to stop in at Freddy's Steakhouse, located at 6442 Kennedy Avenue on the corner of 165th Street, for a special appearance of the Shriners Pipes and Drums at 4 p.m. Stay for dinner. We'll be serving corned beef and cabbage and a green bar. For more information, please call Freddy's Steakhouse, 219-844-1500. Hammond's St. Patrick's Day Parade on March 17th.
This is David Nellens, and you are listening to WJOB AM 1230 and FM 104.7 in Hammond, Indiana.
Hi, Dave. Hey, it's 6:43 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Diedla, host of JED in the region. And once again, we're kind of taken over by high school basketball sectionals. And that was by design. I wanted to do that. I told the plan to the IHSAA. Ramirez and I of Region Sports got together and said, let's inject some energy back into this, and let's put all these games on the Facebook Live so the kids can go home after the game and people can watch them, and you get the idea. So it kind of is taken over here. And if you're not into basketball or whatever, well, just stick around, because Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott and the local journalist, Ken Davidson, are going to shave their heads here in just a little bit. We're going to try to raise a little bit of money, and we'd like you guys to donate to that. And the mayor's going to have somebody in here answering the phones at 844-1230, and he'll give us how you can donate online. It's for a good cause, St. Baldrick's. And, I don't know about Ken Davidson. I'm just going to probably project this also. The mayor, I guess if you just look at guys, he just looks like a guy, and maybe he's decent looking. I don't really know how to judge that well, but you don't look at him and say, it's just a guy. But when he shaves his head, you're like, it's a different look on him. Some guys shave their heads and they're like, wow, the guy looks like a good bald guy. And the mayor, he's got a very interesting look. Once he shaves his head, you guys are going to want to watch this. All you got to do is go to Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you'll be able to find it. All right, let's take a look here at traffic. I didn't cut in. It was such interesting basketball talk. And if you guys are just joining us and you missed it, these guys talked sectionals and IU losing for about a half an hour, and then I came in and we did another half an hour. So all you got to do is go to the beginning of this Facebook Live or Twitter or YouTube video feed, and you'll be able to catch it. 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue. They're all moving along well. Your only real southern end of the Dan Ryan coming up, you get a little stickiness. But I'll tell you what, it's a good morning to drive around. And as you guys well know, I do have a mild dyslexia, and I was corrected by several people, including the pride of Bishop Knoll himself, Mike Whalen, who said we got a real problem if he is out of the area, and he said we got a real problem if the moon is in the east where you guys are at. It's actually in the west, or it was for most of the morning. So thanks for noticing, folks. And I got a couple other texts here. So I said to Moon, go out and look to the east. And if you didn't see it, I bet there were people that came out and looked to the east and say, what's Deedlo talking about? There's no moon. Well, all you had to do was turn around and you would have saw it out to the west. But a beautiful morning. It really is a beautiful morning here in the Calumet region. It's high school sectional Friday. It's a gorgeous weather. You can watch the games. You can get out. All of the games, all of the sectionals are evenly matched, so you need to go somewhere tonight. High at 43, mostly sunny today. Right now it's hanging out in the, like 29 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest, and it is 28 degrees at Local 395 of the Ironworkers Union in Porter County, and then it at 599 where Peter Krakowski is a member. He's just sitting with us. It is 29 degrees. Also high at 47, 51 on the weekend. We have a beautiful weekend coming our way for this time of year. I do want to mention that on Sunday at about 11:30, I will be gathering at one of the local Strachan Van Tils. Ryan, did we determine which one? Highland or Cherville, or which one? We don't know. All right, he doesn't know yet. It's going to be one of the Highland. It's probably going to be the Highland Strachan Van Tils, and I'll be out there at around 11:30, and I will be the first one in the Strachan Van Til chain to buy alcohol on Sunday. I'll be getting rung up right at noon, and then anybody else. I got to believe that at some of these places there's actually going to be lines. It's a kind of a big deal. In the state's 201-year history, you've never been able to buy alcohol on Sunday, and you'll be able to do that on Sunday, and I'm going to go out and we'll celebrate that. I imagine it's Christina Cortez and Jimmy Mulaney will join, and they'll Facebook Live it. And I already know what my six-pack will be, and that will be a Bud Light, unless they tell me to pump somebody else. I will pump Bud Light, as there's been some, I guess, behind-the-scenes support of the station. They don't necessarily like all of their contributions noted, but that's too bad. The Kiernans, both Mark and John Kiernan. John has now gone on to kind of semi-retirement, and Mark is still over there. So they're the Bud guys. They've been distributing Budweiser for some time. So I actually switched over, a few years ago to drinking Bud Light from another brand. Mike Whalen's favorite brand. He and I used to go in and just say, hey, line them up, baby. But now we get different ones. So it'll be at noon on Sunday. You'll be able to turn on your Facebook Live at about maybe 11:50 or something, and I'll talk for a little bit, or 11:55, and then I'll walk up to the counter, and you'll be able to watch the whole thing. All right, there it is. 219-845-1100 if you guys have stuff on your mind. Once again, Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott going to be shaving his head. You guys want to see this, because he has a very interesting-looking head. And Ken Davidson has got a little Cro-Magnon going also. So you're going to see a couple of just hammerheads get their head shaved here for a good cause, and that is the St. Baldrick's fundraiser. And you know what? If you're not doing anything and you want to dump them a 10 or 20 or something like that, we'll make that very easy to do once they get in here. I'm going to take some phone calls. I actually have some news I want to get to. And then I will. Then they'll be in here in just a little bit. local 599 phone line. Bill, how are you?
Good morning, Jim. How are you this morning?
Hey, how was that moon out to the the west this morning?
The west. You know, if you look at that photo, it actually looks like we have street lights. There's not a street light one down that road, Jim.
You sent that photo. That is a beautiful photo, and I'll tell you why. We were all looking at this because you got the power lines in there, and that's us, man. Power industry and the trees and all that. What a beautiful shot.
Hey, did you just say something about a hammerhead or a chrome dome? What'd you say about that? I was taking a sip of my beverage this morning, and I go, what did he just say? I actually spit it out of the windshield.
You know, well, we got McDermott and Ken Davidson, the local journalists, are going to get their heads shaved, and they're both just kind of hammerhead guys, and they're both going to look just really funky, and you guys are going to want to see this. I'm just promoting it so people will watch it and give them money.
I got you.
Yeah, but
hey,
they
I
both
just wanted to tell you, as a former Hammond resident, I know you and I spoke about Cabela's before, and I was real happy to see when they opened up, this, that, and the other. And I know the mayor had to, put on waiters and go through a bunch of garbage to get that thing there, and it's there. I just want to tell you, I live in Lowell. I went to Bass Pro Shops, looked at some boats. Tomorrow I take delivery of a brand-new boat from Cabela's.
What kind of boat you getting?
Fast Tracker.
And what size?
It's a 17-footer.
And where are you gonna launch it?
Well, I live down there, Lake Dale. But
oh, you live on Lake Dale?
Yeah. I'm gonna hit, Lake Dale, Cedar Lake, Bass Lake, Max, Kentucky. I'm gonna hit everything I can, Jim. I got 2 Harleys, you know that. So I'm putting one up for sale because I actually have another boat that's a 22-footer, but it's old. So my wife said, "Honey, I love you, but you don't need 2 Harleys and 2 boats." I said, "You know what? I agree." I said, "So I'm going to go ahead and sell my Go Fast Harley. I'm getting rid of it. Keep my cruiser."
All right, let's analyze this. So typically in most marriages in America, when the wife puts her foot down about a Harley Davidson, it can usually be a moment of contention in a marriage. And it is in my marriage because at some point I'm buying a Harley Davidson. And I told my daughters I would wait till they got through college before I did so. And one of them's almost done. So we're getting up to the moment where it becomes a point of dissension in the marriage. Now, I got to give you credit for basically saying, yes, honey, I'll get rid of 1 Harley because now I have 2 boats. Not every man has the confidence to be able to do that.
Right. Well, you know what? The 1 Harley I'm keeping is the full dresser, and she loves that. The other one doesn't have the backrest. It's actually a pretty quick bike. So I have no problem getting rid of that one. I'll be 50 this year. This is the big milestone in my life. So
you deserve it, man. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us take some pictures when you launch the boat, just the very first time. And, I'd love to see that. And we'll flash it on Monday. Sam will put it up on the screen. He's going to put up your picture of the moon in just a moment. Hey, I got a question. You ever take that thing on the river? Kankakee?
Well, my big boat, no. I will take this new one that I'm purchasing, absolutely. My big boat's too big for the Kankakee River, and I'm not too far from it, Jim. So I will put it out there, and being that the weather changing for the best right now, it will be on the lake tomorrow. I just don't know which one.
All right, man.
There will be fish on my boat tomorrow, Jim.
Oh, there you go. Hey, put the kibosh on yourself. You're going to get shut out now for saying that. All right, buddy.
Jim, I'll go to Strack and Van Tills and buy some and throw them in the live well.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Send us a picture, buddy.
All right.
Talk to you.
All right, bye.
There you go. Hammond guy leaves Hammond. Just really never really leaves Hammond in his mind. You know how many people are way down there, South County, and they're just like, if they go on vacation, they don't say, well, I'm from Lake Dale. When they go on vacation and they meet somebody from Kansas, they say, well, where are you from? And they say, Hammond. Hammond B. Dix. 219-845-1100. Sectional Friday. I got a text here. Says, hey, Jed, can you buy sectional tickets at the door? Absolutely. All 4 of the sites, including the Chesterton site. As far as I understand, none of them are sold out at this point. They would typically tell us. And in the past, sometimes a Friday night, if you guys really want a little tip and you're just a casual fan, the Friday night can be better than the Saturday night championships not always. Looks like this year all of the championships will be relatively evenly matched, but sometimes just the way the draws go, it just doesn't come out, and sometimes you get a Saturday night game that is imbalanced. All four of the sectionals, that will not be the case this time. You can mark my word. But yes, you can buy sectional tickets at the door if you're getting worried about it. And I got to believe that Lake Central sectional tonight with 4 teams coming in on Morton and EC. EC will travel well. There will be at least a dozen losers that will try to hug me as they're walking around because they don't have a cage around us or we're not in a box. They can walk right up to us. There'll be plenty of EC guys there and women. And then you'll have plenty of Morton people coming down. And then Munster travels well, you know that. But I got to tell you, if you're Munster and you're playing Lake Central, that whole community, not just one community, 3 communities are getting behind that team. And Lake Central is going to buy some tickets today, and you can bet on that. And same thing out with Bishop Noel Whiting, although that's a little bit bigger venue or right around the same size, but smaller schools. So you probably have a better chance of not getting sold out at Whiting than you would at Lake Central. I have a feeling that Chris Enyart would be telling us if they were getting close to selling out at Lake Central. Jed, I got another text. Jed, the morning show sounds great with Peter Krakowski, Ryan, and Sam. You should have just stayed home. Well, thank you so much for your vote of confidence. And I guarantee that's probably one of those EC losers that's going to try to hug me tonight. But I got to tell you that at, I don't know, it was probably midnight last night, Alexis and I were sitting in the parking lot of the Hobart White Castles as we went to downtown Valparaiso to see the Bodines play. And if you ever get a chance to see anybody at the Metropolitan Opera House in downtown Valparaiso, do it. It was a really amazing experience. We parked. My buddy Jeff Beeson, I've known, God, we figured it out, 45 years. We've known each other 45 years. We still hang out. And we went, and he has a place in downtown Valpo. And then we went to a couple of bars and ate at Parea's. And I saw a number of people from Lake County out there. And then we just walked across the street to the Metropolitan Opera House where the Bodines just rocked it out. Kurt still has it. And we've seen them many times, Alexis and I have, and it was just a great evening. And I would have stayed home, honestly, if the mayor wasn't getting his head shaved here this morning. And Davidson, I said I'd be here to kind of drum up some money for him, and that's what you need to do. You got to be ready to donate to him and Mayor Tom McDermott getting his head shaved here, and for Davidson. So thanks for your vote of confidence, you EC loser. Anyways, 6:57 in the Calumet region. Let's talk to Vinny. Vinny, Hawks looked horrible last night.
Yeah, Jim, I was watching, Sandy and I, we were watching a game last night, and 7-1. Hey, if this is what this team's going to be with these young kids, they got schooled last night. And last night, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they lost 8-4. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins have a 3-game losing streak, but overall they're in the 6th spot, and the Devils lost last night, so that kind of helped. And this team, this Blackhawk team, no wonder we're in a position. They're in a position where they're at right now.
Vinny, I was listening to some of the guys late. I got home and I was just re-listening to some podcasting stuff. And I was one of the guys that analyzes the NHL said it looked like the Hawks gave up last night.
They did. As soon as at first in the first period, they came out strong. They scored, and then right after that, San Jose just came on strong. Their offense, all 4 lines scored, and they just came alive. And they just decided. They just, started playing, shark hockey.
You got it. What's going on? What are you and Sandy doing?
Well, right now Sandy's just relaxing and everything, and she just got out of the hospital a few weeks ago. So she's doing okay. But right now with this NHL, we were talking earlier this year about the hockey. I predicted that the Penguins are going to go a 3-peat. And, we're still Stanley Cup champions, but right now it does not look good for the Penguins.
Well, at least they're going to be playing. So
right, yeah, and
anything can happen, Vinny. I would not discount it. They're going to get a fire going into the playoffs, and quite frankly, if it's not the Hawks, I'd almost like to see the Penguins do it just for you. Put it that way, because you're such a deep fan of these guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Matt Murray having a concussion during practice. And when I was catching up on the game last night, it's a different team with Matt Murray not in there. It's just like Corey Crawford. I just feel really, our prayers go out to Corey Crawford. Hopefully he gets well soon, and see what his future is going to be holding. Playing hockey.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Vin. Tell Sandy I said hi.
I sure will, Jim. You take care.
Talk to you. Hey, guys, I'll be right back. We got some real business to do. I know we've been talking a lot of high school basketball. We didn't get to talk about the team championships in wrestling, and hopefully we'll pick that up on Monday. But we need to talk about a very important story on the national scene, and that is possible steel tariffs coming to America. And you have no idea what kind of effect that could have. I kind of worry about it when they take them off in a few years, and then it tends to have a cyclical effect of kind of building up local steel, and then when they take the tariffs off, then it kind of hits us hard. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the steel tariffs. If you got anything you want to say about that, call me at 219-845-1100 or text to that line, or you could just put a Facebook comment underneath, and I'm going to start reading some of those comments also. I'll be right back here on the Voice and Face of the Region.
Carpenters Local 599 joins with other Carpenter locals to build the local economy and has been doing so for over 117 years. We are proud to be a member of the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters, which is threefold: training, professionalism, and partnership. We also offer some of the best benefits in the industry. To find out how to become a member of Carpenters Local 599, contact us at 219-942-0518 or log on to ikorcc.com.
Theo's Steak and Seafood sets the standard of fine dining excellence. Delicious USDA prime meats and steaks, along with the freshest seafood in the area. Celebrate your special event with friends, family, and associates in our private dining room that can seat up to 125 people. For information, call 838-8000 or theoshighland.com. Also visit our other restaurants, Prime Steakhouse, Umi Sushi and Lounge in Crown Point, and Ted's Family Restaurant in Calumet City.
Laborers Local 41 proudly represents the hardworking, highly skilled, and expertly trained men and women who work to maintain our local streets and highways, protect and remediate our environment, and build and renovate our schools. Laborers Local 41, investing today for a better Indiana tomorrow.
Eduardo's Natural Pizza in Munster has built a reputation for serving the finest Chicago-style stuffed pizza, loaded with fresh and natural ingredients. Not interested in stuffed pizza? Eduardo's has the best thin crust pizza, appetizers, salads, pastas, and more. Pick up a half-baked pizza from Eduardo's to take home and bake at your convenience. It's the perfect solution for those hectic nights. Eduardo's is located at 7920 Calumet Avenue in Munster. Dine in or carry out by calling 836-2010.
703 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED in the region. You'll be able to hear me, and you'll be able to hear me on the airwaves tonight as one of three games will bounce around on AM 1230 and 104.7 FM. We will be bouncing around from 8 different games. We're also in a partnership with the Region Sports Network. They are out at the Chesterton games, and we'll be able to listen in on them. We will go on the radio to the games that are closest, but on your phone, you'll be able to watch 4 games at 6 o'clock and 4 games at 7:30. And even if you're not a great basketball fan, whip up your phone, watch it for a little while. First of all, we get credit for the views. And then second of all, you'll be able to start seeing what we're talking about on this excitement that we got to really start to re-showcase to the Calumet region. We're going to do that tonight. Tonight's the big night. Tuesday and Wednesday are kind of warm-ups, too. Friday night sectionals is really, to me, the biggest night of the year. Probably, I don't know, I might do the regionals. I might not. I might let the young guys take care of some of that. We'll see. I don't want to just kind of bump them out. But these guys have been working hard all year, and it really is a little bit unfair for me to just step in at the end and take the big regional like I have for 10 or 12 years. I've been doing the Michigan City Regional, so we'll see what happens. But tonight is a big night. I really I beseech you all to have some sort of involvement. Either come out to the games or watch them. Hey, 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford, the Dan Ryan, the Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65. Hey, those are all moving along pretty well. Maybe the Borman, south end of the Borman, got a little bit of tightness after you go through the merge. But I don't know why it's so light today, but it is. Maybe 294, you got a little bit of a dab after Cicero if you're going up to O'Hare. But it's sunny out. It's sectional Fridays. It's a wrestling team state championships downstate. And it's a Big Ten tournament. Don't forget, all day long we'll have the Big Ten tournament on. Purdue will not be playing Indiana. If it was Purdue IU tonight, we were actually going to do we were going to bounce between 5 sites, which would have been the Purdue game, and then 4 sectional sites. But if it's Purdue-Rutgers tonight, we won't be doing that game on the air tonight, and that's just how it is. I don't know how, in God's name, you could schedule the Big Ten tournament of an Indiana team on sectional Friday. And I got to believe there's a lot of high school related stations around the state. I know especially one out to the east that I talked to where the guy's just pulling his head out because Big Ten has scheduled so many Friday night games, and you got contracts and with high schools and so forth. So I don't know how they're all going to do it. But here we're going to go with the high school games. 4 at one time bounce coverage. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda. Hey, this section of the show is brought to you by Rush Radio Surgery. They, of course, are on the west side of Chicago. If you get a cancer diagnosis around here, you don't know what to do. RushRadioSurgery.com. You start right there at that website, and you'll feel like you're at the right place. Weather, and part of the reason it's so cool, I mean, it's such a good vibe around the region right now is the weather. It rained like cats and dogs the last couple of days, and was really bad weather. All of a sudden, the sun is out to the east. I got to run that through my head all the time. It's out to the east. It's 29 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. Once again, I will be at the Highland Strachan Van Til at about 11:30, quarter to 12 on Sunday, and I'll be the first one to buy my beer there at Strachan Van Til. I know there'll probably be a big line and so forth, and too bad I'm cutting to the front. That's how it is. And we're gonna Facebook Live me buying my beer, and it'll just be a historic moment. 201 years in the making will be the purchase on Sunday at 12:00:00:01. I will buy a 6-pack of Bud Light. And mostly sunny and a high of 43 today. Saturday, a high of 47. And Sunday, a high of 51. Plenty of sunshine. Beautiful weekend. Get outside. Clean out the garage. I'm doing the 2 games tonight. I'm actually going out for Founders Day to Westville campus of PNW during the day. And then coming back and doing the games tonight. And then tomorrow, I got a little opening during the day before the sectional championships. Great day to listen to Big Ten tournament action on WJOB and clean out your garage. Steel tariffs, let's go to it. By the way, that weathercast is brought to you by CertifiedElectrician.com. If you need electrical work done, a union-based electrician do it for you. And before I go on to steel tariffs, I want to send a special thanks to the big 3 around here right now for basketball. We got the contract very late from the IHSAA. It took a while to kind of do some convincing, and we did it with Region Sports, and we put together, and BP and NIPSCO stepped up in the 11th hour and sponsored it, and then Community Healthcare. Community Healthcare is the present sponsor. So Community Healthcare, NIPSCO, and BP, thanks to all of them, you'll hear their spots copiously during the sectionals tonight and see spots on the screen and so forth. So it made it a lot easier, my friends. In the past, I just kind of underwrote this stuff myself, and they took a lot of pressure off, and I very much appreciate and will remember that. Steel tariffs, they're talking about 25% steel tariffs coming in to the country. Joe Pete out of the Times is perhaps not just the best local business writer, but he is one of the best local business writers, period. You don't realize what a treasure you have writing for the Times right now in Joe Pete. And here's what Joe says in the Times. President Donald Trump told steel executives Thursday he plans to impose 25% tariffs on foreign-made steel across the board after what they call a Section 232 investigation found elevated import levels of imports threatened America's steel industry and national security. Here's what Trump had to say, or tweet. Our steel and aluminum industries and many others have been decimated by decades of unfair trade and bad policy with countries from around the world. We must not let our country, companies, and workers be taken advantage of any longer. We want free, fair, and smart trade. And I believe with Joe Pete, and if you guys are wondering, that was his dad who was the judge in Hammond who stuck it to the IHSA a few times, but that just kind of shows you what a small world it is here. Here's what Pete says. The move potentially could have a huge impact on the fortunes of Northwest Indiana steel mills. While there are more than 160 steel tariffs already are in place, they all target individual steel producers in particular countries. Now, the sweeping tariffs that they're being proposed would affect any import of steel, making imports more expensive and locally made steel more competitive. Now, there's 10 blast furnaces, including a few at ArcelorMittal in the harbor over here, have closed over the last 2 decades as imports have skyrocketed. Visklosky, the representative around here, said action on the tariffs is overdue. And here's what Visklosky says to Pete here in the Times. He says, twice in the last 16 days, the President of the United States has said he would act on the recommendations of this investigation, Section 232 investigation, that was presented to him on January 11th. It is time the President acted. And every day that our country waits to take decisive action is another day that threatens damage to our steel production capabilities and the livelihoods of our steel workers and their families. So what do you guys think? 219-845-1100. We've got a few minutes before Mayor McDermott and Ken Davidson come in and they shave their heads for St. Baldrick's. They're going to do it live here on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube video, and live on AM and FM radio, and also on the TuneIn app. And but I can't emphasize the importance of this. And I know that there are some free trade people that don't like this. You don't want these tariffs because really what it is you put the tariff on, and then we've seen it before where the steel industry maybe gets a little bit bloated, and then all of a sudden the tariffs come back and they can't compete with the imported steel. But on the other hand, a lot of times the imported steel is actually subsidized by a country that wants to, just sell the stuff and keep people working. So, I mean, there's a lot of issues in this, and I know MX was going to have a comment on this. MX, your initial MX is a former steel worker. Besides having fans at Valparaiso, Indiana last night, MX, I was at the Bodines concert. And somebody came up and asked if I knew Perry Stabler and MX, and they followed you on Facebook, and you have fans you don't even know about.
Well, that's good. I'm glad they're following, and tell them to keep following. But, okay, hired in 1975, JED, 43 years now, okay, in the union, steelworkers. Let's go back to what Visklosky says. He's waited 16 days, right? Us steelworkers waited 8 years with Obama to do something for us. And what did he do? He slapped more against the steelworkers and the working man with Trans-Pacific Partnership. So 16 days ain't a long wait, Congressman Visklosky, when we waited 8 years under Obama. Number one, Jed.
No, let me ask you a question. What do these tariffs do for the local steel mills? Let's look at the company that you worked at for all these years. I've been in the union part of that. Let's look at ArcelorMittal. What does it do for ArcelorMittal?
It makes us more competitive, but let me finish my spiel, okay?
Sure.
The first day Trump made his promise to us, the first day he put an executive order against Trans-Pacific Partnership, which Hillary supported, but Bernie Sanders didn't support Trans-Pacific Partnership. He comes in and we had the highest corporate tax in the world, 38%. We can't compete in the world no matter how good our product is. So Trump helps the steel workers and puts us down to 21% corporate tax. So he kept his promise there.
Hold on a second. You know, I appreciate your perspective as a 43-year steelworkers union guy. I don't know how much exactly going on that corporate tax it affects you. As a matter of fact, a lot of folks will say that it's actually detrimental to the average worker in America, and that there's a huge wealth shift going on. And basically, all you did is let the richest of the rich not pay a bunch of taxes. How is that helping you?
Because it helps my boss, Lakshmi Mittal. Now, here's another one. Paris Accord. Okay? Obama put the Paris Accord in, and for the people that ain't listening, Trump got rid of it. What the Paris Accord did was put 35 miles to the gallon on a pickup truck or a car. And so they start switching to aluminum, as you know, in some of the Ford trucks. That hurt the steel workers too. So with Obama's Paris Accord that Trump got us out of, because nobody else cares about pollution standards, Trump got us out of Obama and Hillary TPP, and now Trump has kept every promise he told the steelworkers with 25% import tax.
All right.
You know, imports.
Hey, let's just sum it up. I got to move it on. You're for it. You're excited about it. I'm getting a number of texts from people that don't normally text me that say they're steel workers right now, and they're all for it. Let's just take it on its level right now. It's good for the Calumet region. Thanks a lot, MX. I'll be right back. AM 1230 WJOB in Hammond, Indiana.
Do you have or are you at high risk for cardiovascular disease, also known as CVD or heart disease? Are you unable to take statin medications due to side effects? You may be eligible for a clinical research study being conducted to test the safety and effectiveness of an investigational medication that may help to reduce the occurrence of major CVD events, such as heart attack strokes, for patients with or at risk for CVD who are also statin intolerant. To qualify, you must be at least 18 years of age, have a history of or are at high risk for CVD, have not been able to tolerate 2 or more statins, and meet additional study criteria. Qualified participants will receive all study medication and study-related care from a dedicated team of medical staff at no cost. Health insurance is not required to participate. To find out more and to see if you qualify, call Cardiovascular Research of Northwest Indiana, LLC at 219-203-1990. That's 219-203-1990. Call now. 219-203-1990.
Ogren Insurance has been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home, auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, OgrenInsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
JED's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you will love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight, JED's has you covered with breakfast omelets, stir-fry, seafood, and steak sandwiches. In addition to our award-winning lemon rice soup, 4 additional soups are served daily. Along with our recently expanded spirits menu, Mondays are half-price margaritas, and Wednesdays are $1 off domestics. Mention WJOB for 20% off your order. We'll see you at JED's at the corner of Klein and Ridge.
The Greens scheduled a no-cost home energy assessment with NIPSCO, who helped them install a new shower head and insulated their pipes.
Turning our to-do list into a to-done list.
They also got money back on a high-efficiency furnace, plus $50 when NIPSCO picked up their old working fridge.
We get money for home upgrades, and I don't have to haul out the old fridge? Man, they really are saving me energy.
Go to nipsco.com/save and see what you can do to save energy and money.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Easy Clean is happy to announce their new location's grand opening at 1637 45th Street in Griffith. Open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Or stop by one of our 3 other locations in Highland, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, carpet shampooer, air freshener, and towel with every wash. And it's fast, easy, convenient, safe, and gentle. Go to myeasyclean.com for more information.
This is head coach Jeff Clattman from the Andrean women's soccer team, and you're listening to WJOB AM 1230 and FM 104.7 in Hammond, Indiana.
Good morning, everybody. AM 1230, WJOB at 719. What time is it? It's time to go to Albert's. Albert's Diamond Jewelers. If you're thinking of getting married, engagement rings is their specialty. Anytime, anywhere, go up to Main and 41, and you can just go in and you can meet good people and have a good time and see the Halperns in there. They step forward to be big sponsors of the IHSA tournament on Facebook Live. And you know what? Just go in there and tell them thank you. All right, guys, let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford coming up, the gut of the Southland is actually pretty nice. Once you get to the southern end of the Dan Ryan, though, it's a little tight. But that's about it. There's a little bit of tightness at, say, 95th on 294 and a little bit of tightness at 95th on 94. And that's it. And Skyway Toll Road, Barman I-65, US 30 and Klein Avenue. I do have to say that Alexis and I took the toll road out to Valparaiso yesterday for the Bodines in downtown Valparaiso, and man, do they have it going on there. They got it right. It really was a very good, positive experience going to downtown Valpo. My buddy Jeff Beeson lives there, and he's been bugging us to come out forever, and he was all over me. And then when I wouldn't respond with a yes, he started working my wife, and next thing you know, she's like, man, I love the Bodines. You're going. I go, it's Thursday during sectionals week. And I'll tell you what, it was a great experience. The Metropolitan Opera House has a huge sound system, and I talked to one of the guys who runs that thing. I think in the future, maybe I'll get some of their people that are coming in there and call in the show and give them a little bump on some publicity. Probably many of you that are Bodines fans probably didn't even know that that was going on. But they have a great sound system, and it's really little. It's not a bad seat in the place. I do want to mention something, though. I hadn't driven the toll road east in a while, and Alexis said, she goes, you know what? Every time we go east on this toll road, it seems like it's under construction. And for a long time, it was a little further east. We've got relatives out in South Bend, or we go to Notre Dame game or whatever, and it was always under construction over the last 5 years. Now that construction's kind of moved closer to the region here, and it's some bad lane switches. So if you go eastbound on the toll road or you go south on I-65 out of the region, you better be paying attention, because it narrows down to one lane in 3 spots on the toll road, and all of them are really tight. And you can see why there's been some accidents in that area. A lot of times I'm reporting accidents out on I-80 east or westbound, and I couldn't figure out why. There's these algorithms on Facebook. There's algorithms on your Waze on your phone. There's algorithms on Google traffic and stuff. And I'm trying to figure out. A lot of times I'm like, all right, I'd love to see where the math is and how do they set these algorithms. I got to think that the one that we were using, or Alexis had on her phone, reroutes you around construction where there has been a number of accidents, because it didn't want us to take the toll road to Valparaiso, and it kept rerouting us to some of the side roads. What's that, Morgan Road, or you get off at Ripley and you take it all the way, or is that Central Ave, you take it all the way to Valpo. And I think it routes you around construction that has had a lot of accidents or has traditionally had a lot of slowdowns. I do have some traffic, though. I'm surprised here. As soon as I say there's no traffic, we have 3 calls. Let's go to the first one. Chuck, what's going on?
Hey, okay. So I'm on the Dan Ryan, and what WGN News is reporting is that the local lanes of the Dan Ryan are closed at 31st Street. They are saying that a body was found in the road.
Hey, hold on a second. Let me update. Up until a couple of minutes ago, that is not there, and now you're getting a little bit, but it only showing 35th on in going into Jane Burns. So they're saying a body was found in the local lanes.
Local lanes north of 31st Street. So I was just watching their live feed, and they've got basically the local lanes closed at 31st. I'm at about 59th now. Traffic is still moving, but obviously if you're one of those people that uses the local lanes, I would definitely stay out of that for a while. Normally in a situation like this, the state police will probably have the local lanes closed for at least a few hours.
Chuck Pullen, of course, calling in on his way up there. Chuck, keep your phone on tonight. We're going to be live at 4 sites, and if they're
absolutely, everything's been looking real nice so far.
Yeah, Chuck is not only will he check our feed out, but Chuck is the driving force. Chuck, I was we had a little water. I did this week, so I had to pull out and move some stuff, and I found a notebook that I had from 2013. And all I was in the whole notebook was I was bitching about you and I couldn't figure out something on the servers in the back. I mean, I wrote about 2 pages on my journal of that time, and that just reminded me of how long we've been working on it to get it to the point where we can do basically 4 games at one time in one night. So I want to thank you, and keep your phone on for when we can't figure something out at this minute, which we do a lot. Call Chuck. And then he's like, well, check this, check that, check this. Oh, okay, yeah. We forgot to turn it on. Usually is what it boils down to. But keep the phone on tonight. We'll get the games on, buddy.
You know it. Okay.
Talk to you. Let's go to Jose on line 2. Jose, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, just reporting on accident on Broad and Ridge Road. Anybody heading east, you're probably better off going up Broad a little bit. Get around that accident, go through the parking lot of Wendy's Hamburgers over there.
How bad of an accident?
Well, the SUV that looks like it got hit, the front tire is off.
So it's in the middle of the road. Without a tire, you can't leave. You got to get a tow truck in there then.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, where you going, Jose?
I just arrived. I work at the Goodwill store on Ridge Road in Gary.
And what do you guys sell there?
A little bit of almost anything.
What do you got a lot of right now?
Clothes.
A lot of clothes. If you guys need clothes, I've been in that store. They got tons of them, and they're at extremely low prices. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir, they are.
Thanks a lot, Jose. Hey, guys.
All right, you have a good day.
You too. Hey, listen, once again, Donald Trump saying that he's going to go forward with 25% steel tariffs. You might have seen some of that on CNN and Fox and some of the national news. That is a huge story around here. There's people on both sides around here because you put the tariffs on, what happens when you take them off, and that can lead to layoffs and so forth, and it has in the past. But during the time of tariffs, it gives us a chance to build, and maybe you may be seeing some major employment coming to the steel mills. Of course, we are here at the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Manufacturing Excellence Center, and training people, not kids, but men and women all the time to be ready to take those jobs once they become available. Also, I wanted to mention that John Bunsich has been moved from the MCC in Chicago, the Metropolitan Correction Center. If you don't know where that is, it's kind of the triangular-shaped building at near Congress and I don't know what the North-South Street would be there. I think that's Financial Place. And it's near, let's say, near State and Congress in south side of Chicago. And the former sheriff who's serving in a 188-month sentence has been moved to Oklahoma. There's right outside of the Will Rogers Airport there's a transfer facility. And he's there now, and I guess we'll keep track of the former sheriff. And I'll tell you what we're going to do here now. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Sam's going to play a couple of highlights from recent games, and we're going to get set up. Oh, my gosh, Hammond Maritime McDermott and Ken Davidson, 2 hammerheads, are going to get their heads shaved, and they're looking very ragged and very much like Midwestern steel workers or Calumet Region steel workers, and they're going to get their heads shaved right here live on the air. And if you would like to donate any money, you can call 844-1230. And I'll have the mayor on in just a minute to say if there's anywhere on the internet or anything if you want to donate any money for St. Baldrick's. We'll be right back. Let me set up.
When you're in the dark, where do you turn to find a trusted professional who can assure the safety of your home or business electrical system? Certified Electrician is here to help. Looking for a highly skilled electrical contractor for your next construction project? CertifiedElectrician.com is where to find one. We connect you with pre-screened electrical professionals living right here in Northwest Indiana. Experts in residential, commercial, voice data video, and signage. Certified Electrician can fulfill all your electrical needs. Visit CertifiedElectrician.com.
Not only does Catering by Steve's cater for all occasions, Steve's in Hegewisch has expanded their all-you-can-eat Lenten fish fry on Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. during Lent. Don't forget trivia every Friday as well. Stop in for some delicious Lenten specials and sample our large selection of craft beers. We also have banquet rooms for your special occasion. Bring your family to enjoy our Easter Sunday brunch on Sunday, April 1st. Call 773-646-1071 to make your reservation. See all we have to offer at cateringbysteve.com, serving the Calumet region since 1958.
For generations, you've trusted Edgewater Systems to provide compassionate, high-quality care. As the science of behavioral health has evolved, it's revealed the important connection between physical and behavioral health. With this in mind, we're pleased to introduce Edgewater Health, which includes primary care, in addition to our long-standing mental health and addiction services. Whichever combination of services you need, Edgewater Health is here for you for your whole life. Learn more at edgewaterhealth.org.
Hi, I'm Jessica Wargo, athletic trainer for Community Healthcare System. Athletic training is part of Community Healthcare System's sports medicine program. Our fellowship-trained, board-certified experts are ready to treat the athlete in you, whether it's pain or injury from activity on the court, in the field, or in your everyday life. We offer services and locations throughout Northwest Indiana. Visit our website to learn more at comhs.org/sports.
As the preacher once said, the best kept secret in Lake County, Spike's Lakeside Inn 2, restaurant and bar, Cherville, Indiana, serving seafood at its finest, Lenten specials, also full sandwich and dinner menu, homemade soups with full salad bar. For your adult dining in a comfortable atmosphere, come join us at Spike's Lakeside 2, located at 21 East Joliet Street, Cherville, Indiana, next to the police station across from Town Hall. For reservations, call 322-4444, serving Thursday through Sunday. Remember, 25% off your dining bill on Thursdays and Sundays. Follow us on Facebook. Hope to see you at Spike's Lakeside 2.
If you've been arrested or convicted of a crime in the state of Indiana, listen up. You need legal counsel. Doesn't it make sense to call an attorney who not only knows the law, but who knows the system? I'm Nicole Bennett, a former deputy Lake County prosecutor. I do know the system and how to help you with your criminal case. From traffic tickets to cleaning up your driving record to obtaining specialized driving privileges under the new 2015 Indiana law and misdemeanor and felony charges. And as many of you have experienced, I can even have your criminal record erased. Call me at Wayne Bennett in Cherville, 219-440-7550. Again, 219-440-7550.
AM 1230, WJOB. Ken, can you talk into that? We're going to it's live on the air here.
Tess, good morning.
All right, and Hammond Maritime McDermott?
Hey, Jed.
All right, there you go.
That's my deep voice.
Sam, how do I adjust these? We're doing two wireless microphones at the same time. If you guys want to see what's going on, go to Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and you will be able to watch these guys get their head shaved. Mayor, why are we doing this?
We're doing it for charity, Jim. Between Ken and I, we did this in the last 3 days, and we raised about $3,000. So, and we both get free haircuts, and we're cheap like that. So.
And if somebody wants to, by the way, you guys both look incredibly ragged. Davidson, when was the last time you did anything to that Brillo pad, huh?
There's not much you can do
other
than shave it, so
All
that's
right.
why I'm here.
All right, there you go. What if somebody wants to do a late donation right now? Is there a way to do it? Can they do it online, or do they call in, or what do they do?
We have links. Both of us have links on St. Baldrick's Association. So I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I know on my Facebook there's a link to mine. I know there's a link to yours on your Facebook as well, right?
Absolutely.
Give your website.
NWIGazette.com.
Ken, NWIGazette.com. That's Ken Davidson's. If you guys have read that before and you want to see what he looks like, go to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube.
There are links on there.
There's links.
And Tony Ponick.
And we'll talk about Tony in a second. So NWI Gazette for if you want to do anything for Davidson. If you want to do the mayor, your Facebook page is called?
It's my name. It's Tom McDermott.
Thomas McDermott Jr. And I just put in that.
Not Jackie Sutton.
Yeah, not Jackie Sutton.
I am not Jackie Sutton.
Wow, that's pretty good stuff. Hey, by the way, I just got to tell you, since it is a Hammond business, I love going to the Starbucks. They sold me a lukewarm latte today, and I've been pissed off ever since I
Really?
got back here. Yes.
I bet
They
you
make
that's
every morning they make a great hot latte, and the one morning where I'm a little bit hot pipes from being at
wow.
Bodine's last night, they sent me a lukewarm one. But hey, listen, if you want to also, if you just want to call into 844-1230, who is that in there? That is
Sharon Zaney, my office manager.
Sharon Zaney is in there. She'll answer your phone call at 219-844-1230. Mayor, what
So
is...
you could donate live on the air as well.
Yeah, you can wait. Just call me at 845-1100. I'll take it because they're going to be working.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can just go to ststbaldricks.org, so ST abbreviated Saint, and put in the name. Put in Thomas McDermott. It'll pop right up. You can make your donation right there. The money goes obviously directly to the Children's Cancer Research Foundation. They fund great research for children with cancer. They've developed a gene therapy that's saving lives throughout the world. So you can get some more information there, which is great too. Some videos, some photos of children that have been helped, all that kind of stuff.
Mayor, why are you doing this?
We all know somebody that's been devastated by this horrible disease, cancer. It's even more tragic when kids get it. You know, I've been doing this. I don't know if this is my 10th or it's in that ballpark, but cancer is a horrible disease. It's a plague of our generation, and you know, by doing little symbolic gestures like this, hopefully we can help raise enough money to help eliminate this.
Also, our own Tony Panek. You can type in Tony Panek. Panek is also going to be shaving. That'll be tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Cavalier Inn on, Baltimore and Goslin, I believe. And you'll be able to come out there and see Tony get shaved. I think there's going to be some other people that are going to be out there also for St. Baldrick's.
Jim, can I say something real quick about that? Yeah, I did want to say I usually do it at the Cavalier, but I'm going to be out of town tomorrow and I couldn't do it, so I want to thank Wally and Nora. They do this every single year, and I know Ken wanted to do it also, but him and I couldn't do it tomorrow, so we're doing it live with you here, but I'm glad to hear Tony's doing it, and I know Councilman Mark and Wally get shaved every year as well, so thank you to Nora and Wally Kaspericki from the Cavalier.
You know, it's a region. There are so many things to do, and tomorrow and the rest of the week, of course, there's high school sectional action. Before we go do this, Mayor, Hammond Civic Center is doing an amazing job. They've got some huge games coming up, and maybe even a bigger game on Saturday. Big deal bringing that sectional to Hammond.
Thank you. We love hosting the sectional. So, and I was listening to JOB live the other day. I know it's a Lake Central, but I was listening to you and Coos talk about one of my former baseball players, Javon Morris. Love that kid. He was a great baseball player, but he quit baseball to focus on basketball, and obviously it's turned out well. So
you got you got a big deal coming up, and once again, we're putting all the games on Facebook Live, and that's courtesy of Community Healthcare Network. But I do want to point out that just on the very outside possibility that Griffith and Hammond both win tonight, you would have a Griffith-Hammond sectional final at the Civic Center tomorrow night. And if that did happen, I would expect anybody to come out and see that historic game, because you won't see those two teams playing each other in any sport anytime soon. Your name, sir?
Jonathan Perez.
Jonathan, talk nice and loud into
Jonathan
that.
Perez.
Jonathan Perez. Jonathan, where do you cut hair?
At a Supreme Barber Studio. It's in Whiting. It used to be called Headliners. 1720 Indianapolis Boulevard.
And how long you been doing this?
Man, about 9 years. It'll be 10 years next month.
You grow up wanting to be a barber?
More or less, yeah. Grandmother was a salon, stylist.
And where'd you grow up again?
Hammond.
What high school? Put that right on your mouth.
Clark High School.
Clark High School?
Yeah, George Rogers Clark.
Clark, going to be a barber. That's a nice region pedigree. All right, man, we're going to start this up. Let me get out of the way. What do we need to do here?
We're cordless. So we can get to going.
Okay,
Wow.
Give that back to him, and you can use your hand.
So I'm doing the play-by-play?
You're doing the play-by-play along with Ken
looks
Davidson.
a little nervous, I have to say.
Well, I mean,
Ken's going first.
I'm going to describe.
I want you to get used to it before you work
All right,
on it.
Mayor, since you're going to do the, I'll do the play-by-play. You can be
Okay,
the color.
all right, you're the boss.
All right, during this, you don't talk because he's putting the shit. Give me that microphone for a second. And let's just describe. I don't know exactly how you would describe. I call it a Brillo pad. What do you call that stuff on top of Ken Davidson's head exactly?
It is sort of like a old-fashioned perm, but you know.
Yes, it is. It's like steel
It's
wool
natural, though,
perm.
right?
It's a steel wool. What's it? Yes, SOS. We need SOS as the sponsor of this Brillo pad. And
They look good, bald.
You're gonna look. You know what? I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think you guys both have hammerheads.
Jonathan, you should do the the Mohawk for sure first, and then you gotta go with the Mohawk.
We're gonna Mohawk first.
There you go.
And we'll do the Mohawk first on.
This is all for charity. Thank you to Ken Davidson for putting this event together. We raised $3,000 in the last 3 days, and if you still want to donate, 845-1100. We got people waiting online.
Yeah, just call in. Anybody wants to just drop a 20 or whatever, do it. Or somebody needs to grease the chute here and call us at 845-1100 to get a donation going. It's for St. Baldrick's. It's for children's cancer research. And right now they're going to get going, and we're just going to start. What's that?
He wants to say one thing.
Okay.
Final words. Final words.
No, what I want to say before he starts is that even after this, a lot of people are going to watch this on Facebook later in the day, whatever. You can donate all year to St. Baldrick's. It's not like once we get our haircut, you can't donate it.
Cool. All right.
Good
So
point.
people can do this.
Those were great final words, Ken.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for clarifying that because
Bye-bye.
we thought we couldn't. You couldn't donate, but geez.
I think there was a mistake with your link now. Sorry, you don't have to go through it. Oh, man.
Wow,
That's going tight.
All right, Mary, you got to remember, it's not just video. There's a lot of people on the radio. You got to describe what's happening.
Ken has no hair whatsoever on top. It's a zero guard, so it's like it's what you would get if you went to Marine boot camp, right, Jake Jacobs? Jake Jacobs knows what Marine boot camp looks like, so.
The day after my high school graduation party, I was sitting in a chair, and a guy did this to me. And then, 13 weeks in San Diego after that, so.
Well, it's very similar, Ken. You look good. I like it. I actually like it better than what you had kicking before, so you look very handsome. So,
Look
Ken,
at Marx Brothers-ish.
Ken's getting a little gray. You notice that?
Extreme. That's
It's pretty gray.
Gray steel wool on the ground. Wow, he can do that in a hurry.
I mean,
yeah, he's putting those clippers on.
I mean, Jonathan's great, but I don't think you have to be like super talented to shave down to the skin.
It's kind of mowing the lawn up there. Right, we're done. Let's go mow another lawn. Hey, Amir, this is we're coming up. You'll be doing your show at 7:45. Preview anything you're talking about special?
Normal shenanigans. Probably talk a little bit of recap of the week. It was an interesting week.
The steel tariffs are coming to the region.
Yeah.
I know that isn't necessarily
Stock market dropped like crazy, but
yes, exactly.
I know the region was happy.
It's kind of weird. The stock market got hammered. It's getting hammered another 250 this morning, and the whole country is like, oh my gosh, he's putting tariffs on steel. That's going to hurt the economy. And here in Northwest Indiana, everybody's going, yeah, way to go. And you know what? This is actually opposite of the early 80s where the whole country was doing really well. And then here locally, we were just getting hammered because there weren't tariffs.
True.
And so we don't necessarily always follow the country, as you could say. Hey, Ken Davidson is almost entirely bald right now. And,
wow.
In a hurry, he is a bald man.
When he's bald, he shares a resemblance to Councilman Dave Ham. You notice that?
You know what? He does.
I know.
We've got
Councilman Ham, if you're listening.
Oh, my God.
We found your twin.
Dave. Yeah, you wouldn't see it because Davidson always has a Brillo pad on his head. But, Dave Ham's kind of a balder guy.
Dave Ham's permanently in that.
Yeah, permanently, and they both have that, Forrest Brooks look, you know what I mean?
There you go. You guys could be brothers.
Hey,
is it too late to back out for me?
No, I think you'll be fine. Mayor McDermott, if you want to see it, is going to get his. Hey, has somebody get on the cameras over here? And as McDermott's getting his head shaved, I would like a little bit more of a. Can somebody put a close-up on Ken Davidson?
You look great, Ken.
You know what? That actually looks
Jonathan
pretty
looked
good, too. So we're going to get some close-ups on these guys. And Ken is almost entirely shaved.
Dang! That is close, man. You have... There's no doubt that is like bald, man.
And Ken is fully shaved at this point. $3,000 so far for St. Baldrick's. If you guys want to give some money, you could go to the website, St. Baldrick's, or go to the mayor's Facebook page right now, which I imagine what most of you will do. Or you could call us at 219-845-1100 right now, or 844-1230, either one of those numbers. Ken, how's it feel? Mayor, give him some mic there, will you?
Feels good. Fresh, clean, nice.
So
ready for spring.
So you feel like San Diego? How many years ago was it that you went into boot camp?
You had to ask that question?
Yeah,
it
did.
Was 35 years ago.
So that would have been 1982. And you came out of what high school?
Morton.
Came out of Morton and went
Yes.
straight into boot camp?
Yep. I enlisted before I graduated. So I enlisted April 7th, 1982. And had my high school graduation party, stayed up all night. Won't say that we drank alcohol, but stayed up all night, went straight to boot camp. That was a double culture shock. So,
well, we're going back in time there. That's Dave Ham and Dave Ham a few years ago. Wow, when you said that, I'm like, holy moly! I turned around, I'm talking to the camera. I look back and I'm like, Dave Ham just walked in.
I'm going to go to the county today and start ordering people around.
I think you'll get away with it. So, all right.
Hand out some Janet.
Ken is done.
There you go. We're going to go up with Hammond Maritime McDermott's.
Last minute donations. I see Dave from Gary's here. It's nice to see you at DFG. So
there you go. Anybody wants to do it, let's take it directly on. Hey, what's your name? What's going on?
Dave from G City.
Dave, what do you got, man?
Hey, I just dropped off. Your back is to me, Jed. I just dropped off $20 for the mayor and $20 for Ken for St. Baldrick's.
All right, there you go. There's
and so you wouldn't be left out. I dropped off. You can get them from Ryan. 2 very old copies of the Calumet Press with your caricature on it, and Alexis's in regards to the flood. So there's a couple of old copies in really good condition of the Calumet Press. So congratulations, guys. Thanks for coming in. I hope you brought your stocking caps, because it's 36 degrees out and your melons are going to get a little chilly.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave. I'll talk to you, buddy. And these guys can't hear him because I have the mics up here in the studio. But Dave from Gary put $20 on each. I'm going to match that right now. So now we've got $80 total. They've already got $3,000. What's that? You're going to match the 20s too? $100 from Jake Jacobs right there. And we're anybody else wants to donate? 219-845-1100. You know what? Put the mic on the mayor now. Hey, Jimmy Mulaney,
Jimmy Mulaney says $100. That's great. Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, he's living in his dad's house in the and he's got to ask his dad. He's got to ask his dad for $20 to go out on the weekend, and Ryan's going to say he's in for $100. Hey, Mulaney, they want you to get your head shaved. What do you think, huh? No, he's taking a knee on that one.
We should have had Dave from Gary. That's the hairiest guy I know. In high school, he had a full beard and mustache.
And you want to know something? Dave from Gary is one of the smoothest chested guys now in the region because he body sculpts.
I've known him since high school, but I don't know him that well.
He was part of the Hairy Mongrel Society that me and Dave Gladish started. And now he's just I saw him at a beach or something, and he's completely hairless. Hammond Maritime McDermott, I will play-by-play this, is getting ready to get his head shaved here on.
I actually kind of like your hair the way it is. Oh, wow.
No, that's it looks like he just woke up. That's bedhead if there ever was. That is this bedhead, and it's kind of long. You know when you get that look in the middle, it sticks up, and then you get the wings on the side, kind of like Bozo the Clown. He's got a little bit of that going on. It is very long. And he's being shaved once again by Jonathan Perez of
Supreme Barber.
Supreme Barber Studios in Whiting. And here goes the mayor right now. Take it away. He's gonna have a. And right down the middle of the mayor's head, there it goes. And once you get a nice stripe down the middle, move your hand so we can get that on the thing. There it is. There's your mayor. That is crazy. I got to get this one. There it is right there. Holy moly. I don't know, man. Someone's going to use that. You're going to run for office one day, and someone's going to throw that up on a campaign commercial against you.
You want to see my St. Baldrick's shirt?
Yeah, there you go. Whoa. I look like I'm like 80. If you could do that all the way around where he gets that side thing, what he's going to look like when he gets older, there it is. Christopher Lloyd, there he goes. Hey, speaking of gray hair, Mayor, we were giving it to Ken here about all this gray hair on the ground. There's some coming down there. Hey, give me that thing there, and I'll put that in front of you. How old are you now?
I'm 49 on Sunday. So
49 on Sunday. So happy birthday, huh?
Thank you. Yep. So I'm gonna go away for the weekend with the judge, and we're gonna go visit Arizona and watch some Cub spring training. So looking forward. And I'll have a nice new haircut to
And
go.
just from the local nurses and doctors in the area, make sure to get SPF 4 million
Yeah.
on that white
Thank you. I know.
chrome dome you got going on
Yeah,
there.
I will have all proper precautions taken.
You know, Mayor, this, a lot of, people in elected positions or in public positions won't do this. They're like, man, I just can't do it. I mean, it's just not it is. I mean, you take the step every year.
Yeah.
You don't worry about the appearance.
No, I think a lot of people, they appreciate it, that we're raising money for charity. Like I said, Ken and I in 3 days raised close to $3,000 for childhood cancer. So when they realize why you're doing it, usually they like it,
And it's hard to talk without moving your head, isn't it?
It is hard. Bald guys sort of got it made. I'm going to go into that. So I've been part of the bald community 1 month of every year for the last 10 years. So I'm going to explain my rationale on why this is a good thing also. So
The mayor right now is almost completely bald. We've got a little bit of a Christopher Lloyd wing on the left side out of Back to the Future. But if you're just joining us, the mayor's show normally starts, the paid show starts at 7:45. We're going to move it back a little bit as we're just doing the mayor and Ken Davidson of the NWI Gazette, and Hammond and Mayor Tom McDermott for St. Baldrick's. And if you want to donate, the best way to do that is to go to the mayor's Facebook page. There's a link there, and you can donate online. And or you could donate for Ken Davidson at NWI Gazette. Also, Tony Ponick will be out tomorrow getting his head shaved for St. Baldrick's at the Cavalier Inn in North Hammond, if you'd like to be part of it. And as the mayor finishes up, I want to remind everybody Hammond Civic Center is the place to be tonight and tomorrow. And I don't know what you're doing, Ryan. You got to come in here and do that. Tomorrow and tonight, as Hammond Civic Center is the host of the Class 3A sectionals. Excellent games tonight. Championship will be tomorrow. Well, Mayor, it's all done just about. How's
that's
it
what
feel?
it looks like. It feels cold in here, Jim. You should probably turn up the heater a little bit.
Well, I don't think Mayor is actually not only in a very stuffy studio, he is right in the line of the sun that's coming through the window right now. It's warm in here
It's
right
noticeable
now.
how cold it is.
Is it
actually.
really?
You can feel it, right, Ken? That's the first thing you noticed.
It's chilly, huh?
Yeah, very cold.
Hey, you know what? I have plenty of these headbands. If you guys want headbands,
The head condom?
They call it the head condom, but it keeps the whatever. I don't know what to say anymore. Hey, guys, we're going to take a short break. Hammond and Mayor Tom McDermott is bald. We're going to get a last close-up of him here. Take that close-up one more time, and you will have the mayor, and there he is, a bald Hammond and Mayor Tom McDermott. It says his head's a little bit chilly. It will not be chilly, as he is going to be taking that out to spring training and putting SPF 4 million on there. Mayor, thanks a lot for charity for doing this.
Jim, first off, I want to thank you for making your studios available on Friday morning. I know that's not easy, and I want to thank Ken Davidson for throwing this all together last minute, literally. So thanks, Ken. Thanks, Jim, and thanks to all the people that donated to a great cause.
And once again, you can donate all day long, and you can watch this. And once again, let's a last plug your name and where someone can go to you to get a haircut.
Jonathan Perez. It'll be 1720 Indianapolis Boulevard, Whiting, Indiana.
And he is a Hammond Clark graduate who cuts hair, and he did a great job. And Jonathan, you put up with us joshing around really good. All right, guys, we're going to end this Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and then they're going to restart with the Hammond and Mayor Tom McDermott Show in just a minute. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for listening. Give us a couple minutes to reset, and I'll get out of here, and they'll take over.
Basketball 10:45 today.
Basketball is at 10.